Live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire, the Gurkha Cigar Studios in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and from beautiful Indian Trail, North Carolina. Welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tabacco, Kevin Acuff, and William Cooper.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. I'm Matt Tabacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I'm joined by these two wonderful gentlemen from SmokinTobacco.com. It's Kevin Acuff from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and William Cooper of Cigar-Coop.com from beautiful Indian Trail, North Carolina, on the Black Stage. It is great to be here with you guys once again. It's Saturday night. This is, as I've said before, one of my more favorite times to be on the air. Look, it's... I want to say it's that time again, but it's a new time of the year now. It's PCA time. We'll be in Vegas this week.
So it's that time.
It's that time, but it's not the usual time, but it is that time. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. I know Coop's excited. He doesn't have to die in the heat this year at the trade show. Kevin, you live there, so it's really irrelevant for you because you have to deal with it regardless. But I don't mind the dry heat, but it'll be nice. It'll be nice. It's going to be an exciting week, and I can't wait. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I finished
Doing
packing
really good?
tomorrow. Yeah, I finished packing tomorrow. I leave Wednesday. I'm going to get in late Wednesday night, yeah.
Late Wednesday night. I get in early Thursday morning, so...
Yeah.
And Barb and I have been receiving packages from you guys for the past couple days.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
You, Kevin. Yeah.
Did you get all my Amazon stuff?
I got 2 packages.
All right. Thank you.
So I got we got, what is it? it seems of the beverage type of package.
The first 2 are beverages, so there's more coming though. Don't worry. That's my outpost. I sent between like cigars for samples, Amazon packages, or other stuff that I tend to send the ACOP residents. I know Kevin's address. Like, I'm not gonna recite it publicly because that wouldn't be cool. But I have Kevin's address memorized like it's my own. Like I can tell you. People ask me, I'm like, it's da 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 da, Las Vegas, Nevada. Like that's how bad it is. I don't even have to look it up anymore. But hey, I mean, I guess that's not a bad thing. I mean,
No, it's definitely not a bad thing. When we have a fleet of Amazon trucks out in the street tomorrow, it'll be all good.
Your neighbors are like, God, those fucking people get so many packages. What are they buying all the time?
Dude, we have Amazon that's literally here daily.
And on top of the shit you guys buy for yourselves, and then like, you know what I mean?
I fucking love Amazon.
I actually had to do an Amazon order. I had to get more camera batteries, and I ordered them at 3 o'clock, and they're already at my house.
Yeah, I love that. We have a big distribution center up in North Vegas, and they're building a new one down in Henderson. So we're going to have 2 big Amazon centers here.
$3. $3. It was $3 to get it delivered today. I mean, I could have had free delivery on Monday, and I'm like, I might as well just do it now because, just in case there's a problem or anything I need,
Well, you're not going to miss the $3, so.
Oh, and Mitchell sent a package to you as well.
Mitchell did send a package. He was all worried. Oh, was it too big? I'm like, seriously, dude? It's like the stuff that I get here from my Jeep is like 10 times the size of that. So, yeah, we're good.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, did you ever get his package? I thought it was held up in customs or something like that.
No, it showed up. When did it show up? It showed up. What was it? Monday, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it showed up. So
all his suits.
So we're good. It's not a very big box. I mean, if he put a suit in there, he's like, I mean, he could literally like pack for a week out of a carry-on if he can put a suit in that little box.
Oh, I thought he was sending suits or something, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, was mine the heaviest box?
It was. Actually, no, it wasn't. Matt's water was the heaviest box.
I win.
Yeah. You sent
Not that it
water?
matters. Coop, let me explain something to you, okay? I am not going to pay $20 for 1 bottle of water down on the strip, okay? And I'm not going to drive out to the local area. Like, so yeah, I Amazoned a case of water to Kevin's house because I'm too cheap to buy it on the strip.
I mean, it's not like you know somebody that lives in Las Vegas that can go to the
Right, right.
Costco,
Go right to Costco
Yeah, but
today.
I'm not gonna inconvenience you and Barbara. You guys have your own shit to do. I'll send it, and it's bad enough I gotta make you deal with it in the house. Like, I
Where were
mean,
we just at today?
I know you're at Costco. I know. And I did tell you I did give you some things to get for me at Costco. I did. Yeah, that's now, but I know it is fair.
Hey, if we go back to get those, we might just have to maybe get a bottle of Camus too.
Ooh, it's a great. I'm telling you, people who know wine, right? Camus is a great wine. You know, if you drink wine enough, you probably know what it is. Costco has a great price on Camus. It can be pricey, but I'm telling you, Costco usually is the cheapest one when it comes to Camus. So,
and they have the more expensive, and they have the more expensive version of it there too for the good price.
They do.
I know
they do. I saw that.
Yes, Total Wine has a $79 bottle, and they also have a $119 bottle, and the $119 bottle is the $79 bottle at Costco. So,
Mitchell asked a great question.
Great deal. Absolutely,
he did.
Got a foot long.
We just talked about it for 5 minutes.
For $1.50.
I had one yesterday. I went to Costco yesterday, and I was like, you know, I knew Nicole was doing something on her own for dinner last night, and I said, all right. So I went through after I fought with them about purchasing limits on a particular product that we really needed for our child. I won't even get into that. I was very disappointed with Costco. I haven't been that disappointed with Costco in a very long time, but I won't get into that right now. And as I was done checking out, I said, it's busy here, but I'm going to the food court, and I'm going to get myself a hot dog and a soda, because it's $1.49, and then I'm going to get a couple slices of pizza, which I just remembered I have another one upstairs in the fridge.
Yeah, Nicole actually just said that you left a slice in the fridge.
Yeah, I just remember that. I'm going to go eat that. And
now you got dinner.
I know.
So you're covered.
I know. Well, I smoked some pork tenderloin on the grill today, so I have some of that too. And I made my potato salad, so I have a lot going on. But that pizza is getting eaten tonight, one way or the other. I mean, that's happening. It's grade A. It's a high end slice of pizza, you know.
But just like, you know, I mean, the Costco footlong on a soda, like, I mean, it should be a requirement. Like, if you go to Costco, just like it should be a requirement, like before you get on an airplane at the airport, that you should get Cinnabon.
It's true.
You should, when you go to Costco, you should have to get the footlong on a soda.
I firmly stand behind this.
Such a good deal. I mean, we need to start a new movement, the Smokin Tobacco Costco movement.
I know. It needs to happen. And Coop's being awfully quiet over there because I know he has a lot of negative things to say about Costco's food.
I have nothing negative to say. I don't. You know,
I know. I just like to give him a hard time.
I only go for a hot dog. I have people go to Costco for me. So.
So hoity-toity. Oh, I have people who do that for me.
I have people who never. I don't do it. Yeah.
Who, Lisa?
Wait,
exactly.
Wait a minute, Matt. What are we doing wrong? I mean, Cigar Media has personal shoppers. I mean, come on.
I know. I guess we're not living as large as the Cooper residence. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a personal shopping assistant. If I want stuff, Wow.
I have gone a couple times for the hot dog, and it's good. The hot dog's good. Good deal. If I'm around now, I'll pick up. Yeah, in fact, I got a membership card from my wife. Got me the membership card, so I just go there when I'm there.
So what do you just go in just to get the food? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, Coop. I do that too. I do that too. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to walk around and have to buy anything, but like I want, the food. Or you know what?
Yeah.
They have great soft serve ice cream there, and soft serve ice cream is not like you can just get it anywhere like nowadays. So like, they get the soft serve ice cream with strawberry sauce they put on top, and now they used to have vanilla. And then they had like the vanilla chocolate twist. Now they have strawberry soft serve or strawberry vanilla twist. And I'm like,
see, they had all that on the menu today, and it was all out of order. I mean,
so good.
Like the Costco that we go to, they're almost getting as bad as McDonald's with the milkshake machine. It's out of service.
See, I've never had that issue at my Costco's. All my Costco's around here, I've never had that issue. They've always been running. That's disappointing to hear, but. Yeah, there's a lot of times, this is what I'll do, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. When I go with Nicole, I go, all right, you go in. I'm gonna go through the other side. I'm gonna get my ice cream, and then we'll meet back up on the other side, And as we walk around the store, I eat my soft serve ice cream. And that's,
Oh, that's a good idea.
when you're a 30-year-old dad, I mean, that's a great afternoon. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Just eating your ice cream, walking around Costco. It's a delight. And then you buy a bunch of other shit you don't need.
I would have to load up on the lactate before I did that because my stomach doesn't really like ice cream as much as I do. But damn it, it is so good. And what a great idea that would be. That would make the Costco trip even more fun.
Nicole had her gallbladder removed years ago, and so she can't eat a lot of ice creams. They're extremely or high quantities of really fatty stuff because she doesn't process it. So she can't quite really do that, but I can. So I'll eat the ice cream for her.
Your lovely wife's taking shots at you in the comments here, Matt.
Yeah, you learn. Keys to a good marriage. you learn to tune out a lot of things sometimes, all the negativity in the comments section. You just you know what? I'm not gonna let it bring me down today. I'm gonna
leave it alone, Matt.
I'm gonna stay positive. It's kind of like what I do with Coop. I just when he talks about Gabe Kapler, and I'm like, you know what? He's a great guy. I'm just gonna ignore that. He's a good manager. So
yeah, but the truth is, we know that when the show's over, she'll whip your ass. So it's all good.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, it's true. Coop. All right, fair. Let's be fair. Does Lisa keep you in shape? I mean, does she throw you around?
No, she doesn't throw me around.
Does she? You ever come home and it's like, William, and you're like, oh fuck, what did I do?
No, it's usually I do something at home. It's usually the opposite. I'll do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen. 30. It's gonna be 34 years in May. I couldn't be I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I'll just say that. Honestly, I really am.
David, all the time.
I'm gonna fight you for that title, Coop.
I hope so. That'll be good too.
Yeah. Barbara is 100% my rock. So
yeah.
It was
true.
brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, those of you that follow us on Facebook know. I mean, she was just in the hospital with appendicitis and had her appendix removed. So there was some scary moments. And I mean, she spent the night in the hospital on Monday night. And literally, since we've been married, that was literally the first time that we've been apart at night since we've been married. So
wow.
that was awkward.
Yeah. I felt bad. I'm sending you a package and you're going through this and I didn't know it. I felt bad. So I'm like, oh my goodness.
No, there's absolutely nothing to feel bad for.
Okay. I was wondering.
Nothing at all to feel bad for. I mean, like I said, we have stuff arriving every day. Yeah. I mean, you guys know I'm into Jeep, and so I have Jeep parts showing up around the clock. So we're good.
This kind of can we talk about what everyone's wearing tonight? And there's a reason for this. Okay, first of all, Coop's looking good. He's got that giant Oliva billboard on his head because he wants everyone to know that at the trade show this week he's going to cover Oliva. Because
damn right.
So will we at Smokin Tobacco.
You guys do. You guys do too. You guys do too. Yeah.
Yep, we cover Oliva. Hashtag.
The rest of the cigar media.
Can you keep the door closed? I don't want the smoke to leave. Sorry. Did she hear me? I don't think she did. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Ooh, now we can talk about him behind his back while he's gone.
Yeah. no, right? He's just. Oh,
we can go ahead and say that we definitely know that Nicole wears the pants in the family. So.
Oh, absolutely. He's just he's just whipped.
Yep, 100%.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay. You gave us a few minutes to talk about you behind your back.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. You guys do that all the time. I'm used to it. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about
what we're wearing.
Yeah, so I talked about Coop. Kevin, I gotta say, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's Barbara's influence. I don't know, but Kevin's been showing up to the shows lately, like groomed. He's got these nice shirts on. He's looking good. I don't know, he's really cleaning himself up. Not that he was a bum, but he's just looking really on point now. Every show. I mean, he's really got it going on.
I love my Dixon shirts.
Oh. Yeah, Nicole did grab something interesting for me. Hold on one second before I talk. Well, both of these items are kind of on theme here. So I'm wearing wearing this masterpiece, and I'll stand up. This is and Kevin, I think you're familiar with this. This is from Room 101. Room 101 brand.
Our good buddy Matt Booth.
Yeah, I'm trying not to like make it weird, but he's all the way at the bottom, and it's in the seam here. But like you can, Matt's got his little face, like right here at the bottom. There he is. There's Matt right there, and yeah, this is a Matt Booth piece. I also have this gem that Nicole surprised me with that showed up this week, which is very interesting. I have this shirt, which is Matt as a hot dog, which is I'll tell you. I mean, it's a very unique piece of clothing, and I'm gonna wear it to the show. Maybe not during the show floor, but
Yeah.
I'll maybe one night.
Well, Matt is gonna be there, from what I understand. Because
He will be there. He will be there.
Yeah, he will be
Sancho
there.
Panza.
I
Sancho Panza, he'll be-
I spoke to him, and he said, "If you wear that shirt, I'll go." And I said, "I'm wearing the fucking shirt." And he's like, "All right, I'll be there." I'm like, "Done."
That will result in some substantial man love from Matt Booth.
So, but yeah, no, I just wanted to point out everyone's looking good. Everyone's looking happy. Everyone's looking good.
Yeah.
And Nicole keeps me dressed in the most elaborate drapery available from a fine haberdashery. It's always fun. You never know what you're gonna get with him. But anyway, it is PCA. It's almost PCA time. We talked about the show a little bit, and we're gonna get into tonight mostly kind of like what we've done the last several years. We kind of have a little bit of a pregame show. We'll talk about what we expect to see, certain topics. We'll talk about the releases that we do know about, although it's been a very light year. And Coop, you and I have talked about this. Kevin, actually, we've all talked about it kind of one-on-one. But and we'll get into that. First, I want to talk about what we're smoking, and obviously about our great friends at ST Dupont. So why don't we get into that now? And Coop, I'll let you go first, and then Kevin, and then I'll finish this out.
Yeah, I'm kind of still going through my stash from Pro Cigar. So today I'm lighting up the Monte Cristo Epic 12, the blue. This was a number 9 cigar 2 years ago on Cigar Coop. So I really love this cigar.
Yeah,
and
of
course
like
I'm
that
using
one
my and I got my ST Dupont lighter.
That's a great one.
Yep.
Kevin, what do you got?
So I am smoking the Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich 55, courtesy of my good friend William Cooper.
Oh, good.
And I am also lighting with one of my ST Dupont masterpieces. I'm using my Line 2 tonight.
Nice.
Yep.
I am smoking. Kind of went outside the normal realm, just because I've been thinking about these for a while, and I'm like, you know what, tonight's a good night. So I'm a member of the SNS Club, and for those who don't know what that is, it's through Tatuaje, and it's an exclusive group. You can only enter it by being invited by a member, and each member only gets one invite per year. I am officially a member of the Saints and Sinners Club now, and part of the Saints and Sinners Club is you get a package every year with a bunch of stuff that's exclusive for the members. And this year there was a pack. Kevin, I think you know a little bit more about these than I do, just because I'm new to the SNS Club. So I don't know if you can chime in on this, but these were in the pack. And these are the actual SNS cigars. Now, I know sometimes there's like a box and they're all the same. I think this year it's different than it usually is. I'm not 100% sure, but they have 3 different sleeves of 5 cigars each sleeve. They're all the same, but you get 3 each, and they're all numbered too. I noticed.
Yeah, they're numbered. They're all numbered 1 through 5. I mean, it's the same. It's the same every year. I mean, you get the 15, and then you'll get a 10-pack of something. This year it was the Jason.
Yeah.
The MBK or the little Corona-sized Jasons,
which I just had one over
and then
there too.
and then you get a CRA 2-pack, and this year it was pumpkins instead of the CRA cigars. So I mean that was kind of a nice surprise as well. But the 5-packs, in my experience, a lot of times they're test blends for cigars that have been released. Sometimes they're, in the past there's been like from the Monster series, like the Monsters have been in there as one of the numbered cigars, just, kind of as a, hey, this is what's coming. And then they land typically before the Monsters come out. So you kind of know what to expect when those land.
Yeah, so it was cool. I already smoked through my the 2-pack coffin. I already smoked through that. I smoked through almost half of the Jasons, but I hadn't cracked this yet. So I opened it. And I figured I want to try these because I'm curious about them, and I'm smoking the number 3. I'm smoking the number 3. And of course, I got my SD Dupont right here. I got my Biggie lighter, my flat flame, that I'm lighting it with. And I know, speaking of the trade show, SD Dupont will be there this week, and very excited to catch up with Les and the team there.
Absolutely.
I know that they've teased a couple of items, and it sounds like they're going to be releasing a collection that's Game of Thrones based. They have some licensing from HBO for Game of Thrones, and we don't really know the specifics on those products yet. We've only really been teased with it. So excited to see kind of like what that is. I know that that's a very popular show.
We know it's coming. I don't think it's a tease.
So what you're saying is I need to have my credit card
Well, I mean,
ready.
specifics weren't released. It was just like, hey, we're doing something with Game of Thrones. I mean, I don't know.
A tease would be, hey, we have something with we have this big TV show we're going to be doing a collection around. No, I don't think it's a tease. I think they're just going to unveil it, is all I would say.
Yeah.
See, that's teaser-free in my book. That qualifies as teaser-free, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Mitchell Winter is coming.
So, excited for that. ST DuPont with us here tonight as usual. We'll catch up with them at the show. Looking forward to shaking up the legacy.
Lighter. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this Slimmy lighter.
I really like this. I really like this thing. I mean, they're gorgeous to look at, and the flat flame. I'm 100% sold on the flat flame.
You got the Slimmy over there. I can tell it's thinner.
Yeah. I got this.
No. Coop, I think you have the biggie.
I have the biggie as well.
Do you? I feel like mine's thicker than yours. I think this because there's the Slimmy, which is a little thinner.
Is mine the Slimmy?
Oh, the Slimmy's its width is less. Yeah, this is the biggie.
Yeah. I think you got the Slimmy, Kevin.
Oh, so what you're saying is mine doesn't have as much girth as yours?
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Hey, size doesn't matter.
Hey, it is what it is. It's not the size of the tool; it's how you use it. But anyway, wow, everyone's joining tonight. We got a crowd here tonight. This is intense.
We do.
Awesome.
I see Les Mann out there. I see Dan Thompson.
Dan Thompson. Raul Ramos is here. Jay Davis, Mitchell, Alan Rubin. JJ's here, David's here, Luke's here, Barbara's here, Nicole's here. I'm just happy Nicole's down here smoking with me tonight. This is a treat now. Yeah, look at this crowd. Everyone's here. Brandon Marsh from Big Sky Cigars. Brandon's here. Wow, everyone's tuning in.
We got our teammate Mitchell who's watching.
Yep. I said that.
He said here. He did say winter is coming though. I mean, he's in Canada. Isn't like winter up there all the time?
Winter's like, I think, 10.5 of the 12 months of the year in Canada.
That's kind of what I thought.
Mitchell gets he gets a lighter winter.
Yeah, he does live like on the warmest part of Canada. Yeah. It's not he lives in like what's the coldest part? Like where people actually live. Like
it's in the
Calgary?
Central North, I would Calgary's a lot colder, yeah. You can talk to John on that. But Rafael Nadal's up in the Yukon right now. And he was in Vancouver for a few days. He was in Vancouver, which wasn't bad. That was bad for him, but when he went into the Yukon, that was a whole other element. I mean, I had to convince him to go buy a hat. I'm like, you got to buy a hat. You're gonna freeze. Like that's where most of the heat, escapes.
I mean, why would you voluntarily subject yourself to that?
I think there was some sort. I don't remember. There was some group thing they were doing with this. I don't know quite the details. But when I was with Rafael in the Dominican, his wife was there too, and we had to tell him you have to get boots. I mean, I said you don't want to be up there without boots and your feet wet and freezing. I'm like, you have to get boots. Yeah.
I mean, I saw a Facebook post earlier from him today where he was all bundled up out in the cold smoke, and I'm like, no.
I have a picture of me smoking in a snow bunker in New York in a blizzard. After the blizzard happened, there was a snow bunker that was carved out, and I was smoking in it. It was pretty cool. I'll have to find the picture.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, if it's below like 60, that's like, that's like Antarctic cold. So
when I moved to Charlotte, it was a big difference. Like, it used to be like I could tolerate 30 degrees when I lived in the Northeast, but when I went to Charlotte, it changed, and now it's like I'm at 50 degrees. So 50 degrees, anything under 50 is cold for me now.
Yep. I totally can relate with that.
Yeah, I don't think, there was a time when I wanted to smoke, I had to endure the cold. I don't think I ever smoked I think I might have smoked in the snow like once or twice. But I don't think I've actually really like smoked in the snow. It's not fun. It's just not.
No.
It's just not. It's just
No,
there's
it's not.
nothing great about it.
It's not.
I don't like being cold.
But even then, like the cigar, like especially that it's so dry, it's so cold. The cigars crack and they blow open, and it's just like if you don't have to do it, it's like I definitely don't miss that. It's like ugh.
Well, that happens out here when it's hot due to lack of humidity outside.
That's true too.
Yeah.
If you're gonna smoke outside in Vegas, you got a dry box so your cigars don't blow up when you go outside. Especially the frail wrappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like Cameroon, forget it. You're not smoking that in the wintertime outside. Fuck that.
No.
No. I mean,
I made that mistake one time.
I don't know how people in the Northeast review cigars outside either, because it's almost, you can't do it.
Yeah, a Cameroon wrapper here in the summertime, you can walk outside and you can hear it crack before you even set fire to it.
I remember early in my cigar days, I had a Cameroon cigar. I can't remember what it was. It was either like a Fuente or it might have actually, it might have been like a J.C. Newman. I think it was a Cameroon J.C. Newman. And I went outside. I don't think there was snow, but it was pretty cold. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna smoke this. Like I was all excited. This is before I knew, and that thing just went, and it just unraveled. And I was like, oh, that sucks. This cigar is not that good. And I didn't know. And then until someone was like, yeah, no, you don't smoke those when it's like 25 degrees outside. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, I learned that one the hard way. So, yeah, I mean. It's definitely one of those things you pick up along the way.
So I see David asking winter or 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
No, see, I'm going the opposite. I'm going winter. That was brutal.
I don't like snow either. So
yeah,
if it's cold enough to snow, it's too cold to sustain life.
It was amazing. I just sort of, Raul, the last two trips from Minnesota I made, my last trip to Minnesota was about a year ago. It was 90 degrees in like April. And then when I was out there in December, it was like 40 degrees. I brought good weather to Minnesota is what I'm just saying.
Well, I'll say when we were back in Cleveland visiting family over the holidays, Barb and I were actually able to sit out on the patio in a light jacket on Christmas Eve day and smoke a cigar. It was like 67 degrees.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We had a 78 degrees down here one year for Christmas.
Of course, here in Vegas, I remember like when I used to be real into the ready control planes and stuff. I remember we always had a New Year's Day flying. I remember New Year's Day one year here in Vegas, it was 77 degrees and we're at the flying field in shorts and t-shirts.
Yep.
On New
I
Year's
did say
Day.
it's gonna be cold. Yeah, no, I know. I did say it's gonna be pretty cool out there the first couple of days we're there. I'm actually taking a very warm jacket.
Oh yeah. What is the weather going to be like out there this week? I didn't even look.
I think it's gonna be in the low 50s.
It's starting to warm up. Let's see. What is it telling me? So Thursday, let's see. Thursday 74, Friday 72, Saturday 69 and Sunday 60, Monday 58. So it looks like there's a cold front. I see wind Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so it looks like a cold front's coming.
In my Apple weather app, I'm seeing 79,
all you Miami
76,
people
73,
wanted this
63, 61.
All you Miami people who wanted this show in Vegas, it's gonna be complaining when you guys
bring some of that Miami weather with you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying,
here,
all
please.
you guys who
Please.
screamed and yelled. Well, I can't wait to hear you guys scream and yell when you can't smoke at night, unless you at night. So.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's still gonna be warmer than where I'm coming from, so I'm happy.
No, that's true. I mean, everything's relative, right? So.
8 Lounge at Resorts Road is going to be busy at night.
It is. I won't be there. I'm gonna make an announcement right now. I will not be there.
And Bagel Mania will be busy every morning.
Oh, I know. That was a discussion of the Coop team, by the way.
Bagel Mania.
Yeah, I mean Bagel Mania, but I think we're not far from the convention hall this year. So like last year we were down in Henderson last year. We were far. But this year we're a lot closer. So but we have to get everyone out the door for Bagel Mania, you know. So that's the key thing.
If you come to Vegas, it's a must see. You got to go to Bagel Mania, and especially, I mean, you talk about convenient. I mean, you can go Bagel Mania and walk to the convention center.
Yeah. I mean, we got 2 dinners lined up already this year, so I'm pretty happy. The dinners are starting to line up, so that's good. I think we just have one night, actually 2. But Monday night, we're not going to go anywhere, so it's really Sunday we're trying to. No, Friday. Friday's the dinner.
You know, Nicole brought up not to change topic, but Nicole brought up something very interesting that did happen, and I'm not gonna lie to you. And you guys know how I feel when I'm mad about something. I'm pretty pissed about it. So far, I've run into my first instance where the great state of New Hampshire that I've sworn my allegiance to, from the Iron Curtain of Massachusetts, they fucked me. And I'm disappointed. And I have other examples of why it's so unjust. Literally, it's some I don't want to get too specific because I don't want to even though it's in a defense.
So what did the Vanity plate say that they rejected?
So look, I requested a Vanity plate, and all I did was the abbreviation of Smokin Tobacco, SMKTAB. Now, mind you, Tabacco is my legal last name. That's my fucking name. So that's my name. Okay, I'll fight that to the death. That is my name.
Right.
Okay. SMK. You know, that could be anything. You know.
Right.
But it's Smokin Tobacco. But it's Smokin Tobacco. It's a cigar thing. They rejected my Vanity plate request for the reasons of promotion of illegal drugs or substances. And I said,
but Dave has it. Dave has a cigar on his, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it, but yeah, Dave's cigar license. It's like plays cigars.
It's cigars. Yeah,
it's cigars. I mean, Dave has a New Hampshire license plate. I'm
not trying to throw him under the plate. He's talked about it. He's shown it. I mean, he said it. I've been in his.
Yeah, car. I mean, I'm like, all right. I'm like, you know, in my defense, I'm like, I literally know someone who has the plate cigars.
Right.
Like,
I was gonna say that.
I don't understand that. Like, that's bullshit. I'm taking this to the Supreme Court of New Hampshire. I'm writing a letter. I'm like, how do I fight this? Because this is unjust. And they're like, you got to write a letter. I go, I will be writing a long, heavily argued letter, and I will take this to the top. That's actually funny,
because in the wonderful Silver State here, it's like when I got my Vanity plates, it's like I actually submitted one and actually got approved, but I didn't buy it. It said FA with a space in Q.
You know what sucks too is they declined that, right? But then Nicole was like reading on like forums and stuff for like other New Hampshire residents and stuff with the Vanity plates, and there's a guy out there, okay? There is a guy out there with a license plate, okay? That I don't know I don't think it fully says it because you can only put so many, but it's basically it, and I don't think he means it in an illicit way, but one can take it that way. He has a plate that alludes to the phrase of white power, okay? And I think it's like a guy who has like a white vehicle that's like a sports car or something. But it's like, you're telling me that there's not a lot of people out there who would take that the wrong way? And that guy has that license plate. And I'm like, so you let a guy have a racist license plate, and I can't have like half of my last name and then 3 letters that could be anything.
I'm trying to figure out how those,
That's
I'm
bullshit.
trying to figure out how your license plates translates to illicit use.
I know. It's not like it
can't
says
make the connection.
SMK METH. It's like, come on. I mean, this is bullshit. I was pissed. And I'm like, I thought the great people of New Hampshire would like be a little bit more like, if Massachusetts did that, I'd be like, I'm not surprised. Those people suck. But like, New Hampshire.
You just need to submit one to like BGMEET and see if they allow that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm like, this is redonkulous,
You gotta take that up to the highest levels.
Oh, I know. I'm like, I can't let this go.
Get
Well, I was gonna get
Dave
2.
involved with this. Get Dave involved with this too. Yeah.
I'm gonna go, Dave. It's time for an injustice of a New Hampshire residents and cigars, and Dave will be like, oh,
he will.
We have a problem. This is not right.
I can't see how those initials translate to anything illicit or illegal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, I was just so dumbfounded. I'm like, really? I'm like, there's people out there with actual, like, Nicole has a couple of options, like, that she found. But like, there's people who actually have like this one. Hold on. I have Dan's coming up here really quick. But like, and then she found this one, which I don't know if anyone can figure out what that means, but I know what it means.
Oh, I know exactly what it means.
I mean, that someone has that plate. It's registered. Like, it's just like, like, it's bullshit. Like, why does that guy get that? Like, I can't have like my name. Like, you know what I mean? And I needed 2 of them.
That was actually really creative. That one's funny.
Well, I have 2 vehicles, so I was gonna do SMK TAB 1 for one vehicle, and then SMK TAB 2 for the other vehicle. And I didn't register the other one yet because it's in storage for the winter. So I did this one first, and then this one got shot down. So I'm like, I'm glad I didn't submit the other one too, because then I'd have to be dealing with them at the same time. So I'm like, I got to fight this battle first, and then I got to see where it goes.
Now you just got to go like Tabacco 1 and Tabacco 2.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what a joke. And at that point, if they still give me shit, I'll be like, all right, you're turning me down for having my last name on a plate? That's discrimination. That is just an injustice. And
That's pretty fucked up.
I know. I'm gonna be a man of the people, and I'm gonna stick up for this one. This is a fight worth fighting. And Coop's right. I'm gonna get Dave in on this because you know what? Dave will know what to do. I remember when I was emailing with Dave, and I remember when we first moved here, and I was like, hey, by the way, we just bought the house, and he just responded back like, didn't even talk about business. He was just like, first and foremost, I have to say, welcome to the 603. He was all excited. But now I got to tell him, all right, Dave, my first order of business as a New Hampshire resident, I have a problem, and we need to deal with this.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my saga for the week. That's my saga. So, yeah,
You actually have a right to be pissed off about that. I mean,
yeah, I know, I do.
Yeah, I think you absolutely do. Yes, this is not. Yeah, this is completely your name. It's your name.
I know. I mean, it's my name. I mean, and I don't even have to tell him that. Like, look it up. I'm in the system. Legally by the government. You have my real name. It's there. It's not like I just have it on Facebook. Like, it's on my license. And which is another discussion that this comes up, as you guys know, from time to time. People ask me all the time. They're like, "Oh, is that really your last name?" Yes. Per the United States government and the great state of New Hampshire, my legal last name is Tabacco. It's spelled Tabacco. That is my legal name. So it may mean other things, but it's still my name. I have a right to use that. So I don't know. I'm just feeling really personally attacked this week. It's not fun. Anyway, so let's talk about PCA. All right, we've strung people along for 42 minutes. Let's talk about PCA. Let's talk about some cigars. So one of the things that I think I don't know if we've all talked about it as a group, but I know I've talked with you guys one-on-one with this, is, So it's Saturday. We are less than a week away. We're all going to be. Well, Kevin is already in Vegas, but Coop and I will be in Vegas within several days. We're there. It's almost time to rock and roll. And having said that, and Coop, I know as another website, runner, you see this stuff too, and you have been around a lot longer too. I have to say, I know it's not over yet, but it's looking a little light on the announcements, and I know that, granted, maybe okay, the show changed, it's a little sooner. Maybe not everyone had something ready to go or was able to, but I understand that. But it's still looking kind of light. I mean, it's not like there's no releases, but it's just not what it's been. Or Coop, and maybe I don't know. You've been doing this longer than like pre-pandemic, right? I started around the pandemic time.
Right.
Was it maybe just that the last couple of years were just extra heavy because of all that stuff that was been going on the last few years, and there was just a lot of releases? Or as even before that, I mean, the announcements for PCA, I mean, have they always been like kind of heavy? I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, it's very light this year on announcements for the show.
It's the lightest year I've done in 14 years.
Okay.
Even pre-pandemic, like the apex was 2016 when everyone was trying to release everything but the kitchen sink and anticipation of FDA. That was insane. But this is definitely the lowest year I've seen since I've kind of been covering I'll say since 2011, because 2010 I was at the trade show as a buyer, so it was a little different. So yeah, this is definitely the lightest. There was definitely an uptick this week. There was definitely an uptick of announcements this week. But for the most part, slowed down on yesterday again. So in past years, I used to blame print publications for holding back the announcements. I don't think that's the case. They're holding back a few. I'm not going to tell you. I mean, I can tell you 2 or 3 companies like off the top of my head that held back. We were told that, right? But I don't think that's moving the needle. I think this is a lot of companies. The companies who made the announcements knew what they were doing. And there's a bunch of companies in a scramble mode saying, can they make an announcement? Because a lot of companies feel they can't make an announcement without having photos and proper packaging and stuff like that. So that's the question. We have, as far as I'm concerned, we have 4 business days until the trade show. Actually, 3 business days before companies are setting up on the trade show floor. So the window is really closing. Unless there's just an incredible surge, this is going to be the lowest year of announcements that I've seen. I think it's just 1 year. I think this is just a 1-year deal. We'll go back up next year, but this is.
That was actually going to be my question, Coop. Is if you thought, is this going to be kind of like the new norm, or is it just maybe the time frame, the short time frame between the last show and this show, just has kind of created a shortness of releases?
It's definitely the short time frame. Even though they made the New Orleans announcement about a year ago this week. Most companies are in an 18 to 24 month cycle as far as their product cycles go. So some companies just couldn't get it done. Some of the companies that made announcements, I believe, held some product back from last year. Like maybe they were going to release it at either last year's trade show or in the late fall, and they just said, well, we'll hold it for this year. And there's other companies that just simply didn't have anything this year to go. So, a good example of a company that was ready was Christoph. Because Christoph knows they have to have a PCA cigar, and they plan those in advance. And they knew they were having the 20th anniversary this year, for a long time. So that was something that they were able to get in very, very good with that. So, I don't fault them for that. Same way, Padron's going to do the 60th, and even though they probably won't ship that till late in the year, I'm sure they're going to have something ready with that as well. So, but next year, it should bounce back. It should definitely bounce back next year.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Kevin. I'll let you go.
No, I was just going to say, now, do we anticipate anybody having something at the show that a release isn't sent out for? Maybe time frame or time constraints, or, to Coop's point, packaging or whatnot wasn't quite ready to release it before the show, but they get it in time to actually have it at the show. Are we going to say any of that?
I think that does happen.
Yeah. I remember EP Carrillo a couple years ago with the Allegiance. They did not have all the packaging done. So they had the box, but I remember the cigars didn't have the bands on it. So they showed the box off with that. So, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff like that. I was calling this is going to be the year of the unbanded sample and the unbanded cigar. Everyone should take, anyone covering or going to a trade show as a retail media, they should have a Sharpie with them. It's an absolute must. You must have a Sharpie because I think you're going to be getting a lot of unbanded stuff this year.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And the worst thing is when you don't take a Sharpie and you put those away, you have no clue what those things are. There's no way you're going to know what they are. Unless they put it in a special pouch with the name of the company on it, so that's the only way you'll tell.
Yeah, but usually those get trashed as soon as you get home.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to, yeah. So, yeah, that's, it's. So I think it's going to be more. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of this year is stuff like that. I mean, when I was down in the DR, I visited a few factories, and I know that both the factories I went to have projects that are planned much later in the year. So, and it didn't sound like those projects are even going to be shown at PCA this year. So I think the other thing we may see this year is a little bit of a boost of like an October, November release cycle of stuff. Back when I was covering the show like 2011, 2012, you used to have a spring release cycle of like February, March stuff. And then you had the trade show was in August back then. You have an August release cycle. So I think we could get back to a little of that maybe this year. That's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, sorry. I was reading the comments here, and Dan Thompson from McAuliffe Cigars is here with us tonight, and he made a couple of comments. I want to go back here. First thing he said was Mitchell Santiago. Lots of hustle was needed to finish packaging for sure. I think he's talking about the McAuliffe Blue that was just announced. And then he said, we put money down with the band printer to reserve a run as soon as we learned about PCA in March. So, I mean, yeah. And
that's 12 months in advance, yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, great, thinking and planning on their part for doing that. I'm sure that there's other manufacturers that maybe didn't think to do that, or maybe they didn't know that they were going to need it at the time, and now they have products that they're like, oh, you know what, we can drop this at PCA, but we didn't know, and we didn't pre-plan for it, and now they're scrambling, or maybe they won't have something finished. I don't know. I think Coop's right. I think a lot of it is that turnaround window, but still, it's. I guess it's still weird. You're just so used to seeing so many announcements. It's like, I remember last year. I mean, like covering all those announcements. It's like, I mean,
there'll be a push. Monday to Wednesday is going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of stuff Monday to Wednesday. In fact, I've already had it, and like I said, I leave Wednesday. I've already put a prioritization plan together. Some of the stuff's just not going to get announced as fast as people are going to want, but it's going to depend on a lot of variables this year. It's just I can't do it. I'm not going to kill myself doing it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a feeling the first 3 days of the week are going to be ridiculously busy for us in the media for sure.
Yeah, it's I assume even with the lighter announcements, I assume so. And there's also a lot of pre-planning that goes into it too. I mean, there's for like the actual show coverage stuff. I know everyone's already like kind of working on stuff ahead of time. Nicole's already been working on stuff. I've been working on some stuff. I know Mitchell's like already like going through all the press releases and stuff and starting to kind of pre-note information, so that way when he gets to the booth, he can just kind of fill in what he doesn't have. Because when we've talked about this, the manufacturers don't always send a press release for everything that's at the trade show. So it's hard to go off of that, because a lot of times you have to go and get information. They'll send you a press release and they don't give you enough information, or they send a press release with like, hey, like we're bringing this, but like no details, provided yet. So like you still got to go and be like, all right, so I heard you got this coming out, but like what is it, like, and then even then once in a while you guys like, oh, we're not really disclosing the blend, and it's like, well, I mean, all right,
I'm okay with that, but doesn't mean I necessarily have to cover you before the show either. So
right,
that's kind of how I look at some of the variables that go in there. That's okay. We'll cover you. We'll be after booth coverage. We'll do or something like that. We're part of the booth coverage. I'm okay with that. At least it gives me a way to plan to go, okay, because here's the thing. This year with appointments, unless you were a sponsor of ours, right? If you had nothing new, we're not going to the booth, at least up front. I mean, those are the ones we had to prioritize them. So, if you have nothing new, I just can't schedule an appointment with you. It's not that I don't want to. I'm going to see everybody. It's just I only have a certain amount of hours, and our team only has a certain amount of hours a day to do this.
And losing that half day, at least on the media side, does make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who says it doesn't, they're nuts. And anyone who says it doesn't matter, you're just in. I'm sorry, then you're just out of touch with the industry. If you say it doesn't matter, you're out of touch with the industry because this is an opportunity to get free publicity. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? On any type of channel, on any type of platform, whether it's traditional print, online web, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, you're getting free publicity for 3.5 days. You're losing time with that. If you're saying it doesn't matter, you're out of touch with the industry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a little discussion going on here in the comments, which I think is an interesting topic. Jay had said, over under STG to have 8.5 new releases, and Alan had asked SKUs or lines, and then he clarified lines. So 28.5 SKUs. Now, Coop, you and I were talking about General yesterday at the trade show.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like, based on our conversation we had yesterday, that this is most likely true. I mean, General has a lot of stuff that they haven't announced, but you're going to see it drop at the show.
General typically doesn't do their announcements before the show. They'll throw a few bones out there, one or two, but that's not been their MO. They are traditionally a company that shows the stuff off at the show. And when you get there, if you're media, Victoria has a thumb drive ready for you. So with all the press stuff. Like, he is really well prepared. And I do believe, I think 28.5 is a really good over-under for SKUs, by the way. That's not, because if you think about it, they have 8 new lines or 7 new lines with 4 Vitolas. I could see them having 7 new lines with no problem, or 8, you know what I mean? So, and I think there's a few things, they have some interesting things planned, just because General hasn't been at a trade show in 5 years, almost.
Right.
It's 5 years because
and Dan Thompson had asked us with Jay in the comments. My ignorance is STG fully at the show. So kind of Coop. I think this is a good time to say this too. Last year the forged brands came. So Rim 101, Alec Bradley, and all of that. So this year it's the General Cigar Company brand. So it's Cohiba, Macanudo, Partagas. What else would look? Does the L'Oreal fall into that?
CAO,
CAO,
Punch.
Hoya, Punch. Yeah. So all of those brands will be at the show for the first time in 5 years this year.
Yeah.
The Forge stuff was there last year, not so much this year. Oh, Sancho Panza.
Panza.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot there that can happen. Especially I would expect there's probably at least one new Cohiba release. There's probably.
I think there'll be a very premier Cohiba release, will be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, one has to assume. I mean, if you're bringing the General brands back to PCA for the first time in several years, I mean, you're gonna bring a new Cohiba. I mean, I have to expect that there's something.
Well, yeah. To Coop's point, I mean, especially the premium Cohiba release, because I mean they've had those for the past few years. I mean, what a perfect platform to drop that at when you can get the publicity behind it.
Yeah, you could see the actual packaging. I mean, I don't have any info on that, and believe me, I was with those guys, and they were clammed up on that part. We had an interesting discussion on the Coop show, and the question we posed was who has more new blends at the trade show, Rocky Patel or Justin Andrews? And from what I see, Rocky's only doing 2 releases this year. So if Justin has 3 blends with his name attached to it, he could win that battle. And I actually thought it was a possibility this year.
Yeah, because Rocky he's bringing a Year of the Dragon.
Yep.
And he's bringing the gold label, which I think is unofficially the follow-up to the white label we saw a few years ago.
It's a more value-priced one, but not as expensive as a white label. Yeah, I get the impression Rocky's going to be doing these color labels over the next few years. So we know
General has the Sancho Panza with Matt Booth and Justin. So I mean, there's
Yep.
one for Justin right out of the
Yep.
gate. So
Oh, you mean the one that looks like Camacho that Coop we talked about last time?
Another one that looks like Room 101.
Yeah.
You know, another black and gold cigar with paper over it. I'm just saying. Believe me, that was discussed with Justin in the DR.
It was funny because I know Justin was on the show like a month or two ago. It was before
Yeah.
it was before Pro Cigar, and I was listening to it, and I was talking to you about it, and then we were talking about that episode after I was done, and you were like, "Oh yeah, and I forgot to bring up the Sancho Panza thing. I'm so pissed."
I did, but I did in the DR. I did in the DR. I did in the DR. I mean, it is a strategy they're doing with that. So, I mean, I guess they think there's something to it. So, I don't agree with it, but that's my opinion.
If it works for them, I mean, when
Yeah.
it comes, and again, when it comes to owning a business like that, where you have a product and you're trying to be innovative, people get strategies, and
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
If it works for them and they make money, then okay.
Yeah.
If not, then well, Coop told you so.
Yeah, but what's funny is when I had Justin on, it was out of
I don't
sight, out of
know.
mind by that point. It was out of sight, out of mind, so I did forget. But when I was in the DR, they had already talked about this next one, and it was like, oh, jeez. I'm like, come on, man, come on. I mean,
So this actually is interesting. Alan said, "Who has more new releases, General or Drew Estate?" I still think it's General. I don't think Drew Estate
I
comes with
agree.
a lot of SKU. I mean, they got that. They just announced their freestyle. It was the S84.
yeah, I don't think they're planning that either. I think they're going to still stick to their strategy of consumer doing these announcements around the consumer events, but they threw one to time it with PCA. I don't think they're abandoning that strategy at all. I
Yeah,
think it's worked for them well. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I expect a lot of excitement at the Drew Estate booth because that's just kind of how they roll. But I wouldn't expect a lot of new product at the show. Much to Coop's
No.
point, they have their thing. It works for them, and again, it goes back to what I just said. Like, that's their strategy for their business. If it works for them and it's the most efficient and it makes them money and it makes them profit,
Yep.
that's what they're gonna do. Yeah, Coop's right. I mean, I can't blame him.
I can't
no, I
blame
do
them
have to
either.
say
I
from a
think.
cool. Go ahead, Coop. I'm sorry.
No, guys, you go, Kevin.
I was going to say, just from a cool factor standpoint, with the timing of that release and everything, I mean, how cool the possibilities of it happening are probably zero. But how cool would it be to have James Hetfield at PCA?
I don't think he's going to be there, from what I heard. I mean, they
Yeah, I
haven't
think
really
the
had him in person
possibilities
for
are
anything
zero,
yet.
but
It would be cool. I mean, I still think it's cool they're doing this. I think this is the release you want to do. This one at PCA. And by the way, I gotta toot my horn here. Stone Cold. I gave this a Stone Cold lead pipe lock. What that cigar was from the first time I puffed on that Freestyle Live cigar. I had no doubt in my mind that was the next Blackened. Everyone was saying Negro. I said no. It was too bold. It was too strong. That was a strong Connecticut, I thought.
very strong Connecticut.
I said, there's no way they'll make that a Nika or a Liga. That's why I kept saying it had to be. They would be missing the boat if that cigar wasn't a Blackened. That's why I was like, there's nowhere else that cigar could have landed.
Yeah, and I was gonna say
See, my mind was that like some sort of a Liga Connecticut, but it just for some reason like I didn't translate to the M81. But
So there
makes
were some
sense.
Liga Connecticut floating around at the factory a few years ago, and we got them right. And I've smoked it, and I knew this was nothing like that cigar. So and it was something they were just giving out at the factory. It wasn't anything released. I knew that this cigar was nothing like that. It was too strong. So I said, it isn't the Liga. There was no way that could be a Liga. I thought the only other thing I thought it could have been was some sort of an Undercrown 10 shade. That was the only other thing but I said, you know what? It's black, and I'm just gonna go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Coop, remind me, when is the next anniversary for Liga Privada? On an unrelated note.
We just passed one. So
Is
it
it
was
15?
2023 was a 15. We just passed the 15. So the next one will be 2028, which is the 20.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. For the 20th anniversary, 20th anniversary is a big deal. Everyone has done something for their 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think at the 20th anniversary of the Liga Privada brand, do we think we finally see them drop a Connecticut? I mean, they've already spent all this time the last few years with H99 and League of 10, so they've already done a lot. A couple years go by that, maybe the 20th anniversary, we finally see a League of Connecticut, because we know it's been talked about.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. In fact, it was Photo Around the Factory would tell me they thought about it. I think that would be a good time. I think I don't see them doing it anytime sooner. I see them really building on H99 and the League of 10 and the Selección de Mercados right now.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I see possibly some of those cigars maybe making their way to Unicos in the next few years. So I don't see them introducing another wrapper for a while. So 2028, I can see them doing maybe the same thing again. They come out with a Connecticut or some sort of a hybrid Connecticut, in parallel, like do two cigars like they did in 18. But I don't think we're going to see it sooner. I don't think especially now that they've got Blackened and Undercrown Shade, and Chateau Real now is back. So I don't think they need to introduce a League of Connecticut now.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm thinking if they're going to do it,
that would be the time to do it.
Big milestone. I think the 20th is when we finally see a Connecticut version of the Liga Privada.
I agree.
It's got to happen eventually. I mean, I know it's the Liga heartbeat. I don't, I know it's been, not necessarily a mild cigar,
they thought
but
about it. Yeah.
Tell me.
They thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you something was released as a stealth cigar in 2018, just in case the FDA clamped down on that. So, I think they're covered with that. I just don't think. I think even what they gave us at Safari, I wouldn't say that was ready for primetime Connecticut either. So, I mean, it was a fun cigar to smoke. I wouldn't say it was anything spectacular. I'm sure they'll work on that a lot. So we're not going to see. That would be, like I said, we're 4 years out with that. I could see 4 years. So it's going to take a while to get that. And my gut also tells me they will do U.S. Connecticut with that one.
Oh yeah,
because they use U.S. wrappers for all the leaguers. So that would be a U.S. Connecticut, which that's a tough wrapper to even get, right? So 4 years down the road, I could see that. Yeah,
definitely aligns for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost anticipate. I mean, unless they've already working on it and planning for it and all that, I see it being kind of like what we saw with the H99, where like it came out and for the first few years it was like, it was just non-existent. I mean, it was more rare than a lot of Opus, in that regard too. And now H99. I mean, I go into stores, I see more H99 than I see number 9. So.
They definitely and I tell you what, it's kind of weird. The size I liked the best in the H99 was the Phineas Gage Lancero, by far. And I'm not the Lancero guy. That was good. Excellent. That was an excellent Lancero. It's a consistent Lancero. And then I think overall I like the Anniversario blend better. I think that's one that's really come around to me.
I think that's where Nicole's at too. I think because I remember when Nicole first smoked it, she was really excited about it, and I know she's in the comments somewhere. So I don't know if she'll chime in, but yeah, I mean, I remember, I know Nicole is really high on the Anniversario number 10. Yeah, it's funny. Jay Davis, H99 doesn't move. That's interesting. I actually really like the H99.
I know, Kevin, you're a big fan of the H99 too. Mm-hmm. I agree with exactly what you just said. I mean, the Phineas Gage is, I think it's the best representation of what that cigar is supposed to taste like.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Absolutely, and I think I'd like to see it come back for. I'll predict it will come back, not just as an event cigar, but maybe a limited one, once a year thing or something like that. I would have moved. Yeah, I think they kind of tested the waters with that as an event cigar, and it turned out to be good.
A close second to it, though, is the Papa Frida size.
That
one was actually really good, too.
We had that high on our list this year, too. I forgot about that. That one was great.
Yeah. The DP guys had it high on their list, too. They had it on there as well.
That was another one. That thing tasted amazing.
Like to Kevin's point, like it's another small format. Yeah, it works really well.
I didn't guess that one right. I didn't guess that one right at all. I missed that one completely.
What, the Papas Fritas one?
Yeah, that one I called. As soon
A
as
lot
I
of people
lit it,
called it. I was
as soon as I lit
overthinking
it, I
that
called
one.
that.
I was overthinking that one, is what I'll just say.
When I first saw it, like I remember when I first had it and I first saw it in person. I got it at Vintage Cigar Lounge in Westerly, Rhode Island. Shout out, love those guys. And I remember I was like looking at it and I'm like, this is a pop. I looked at Nicole. I was like, this is a Papas Fritas, like all day. And I'm like, and I'm thinking like, all right, so Papas Fritas is in the Liga section. I don't think they're doing a Papas Fritas outside of Liga, unless they're being crazy, and they are. But I'm like, that's a Liga size. So I'm like, yeah, it's gotta be an H99. Like there's just like, you know, I like doing the math and some of the things that I'd heard through the grapevine on the back end. And I'm like, this is gonna be an H99 Papas Fritas. I'm like, I don't know what else it would be. And sure as shit, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, when I started come out, I was like, yeah. I'm like, just doing a quick think. I'm like, what else could I smoked it? I'm like, I mean, it lines up. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I was actually surprised that they did it, to be honest with you. But you know, just like you said, when you saw it, you knew it was going to be a Papas Fritas. And I mean, as soon as you like cut it and took like, you know, just a cold draw off of it, you could tell exactly what it was. You didn't even have to light it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when you get like a Toro, it could be anything. You know, that's such a basic sour, Robusto, such a basic. But when you get that with the little tail on it, you're like, we know what this is.
I kept overthinking that, and it's, you know, and I was like, well, okay, it was, you know, not an H99. It tasted different, right? Because obviously it was mixed filler, but you know, I was just thinking other things. I should have just cut the cigar open, and I would have figured it out.
I mean, Coop, in your defense, I mean, it's, you know, I'm surprised you didn't figure that out as easy as I did too. But at the same time, like, I get it, you know. I mean, sometimes you just overanalyze things because you're thinking like, oh, there's no way they would do that. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. But because I feel like the Freestyle Live setup doesn't like really work well with like the Liga stuff, because usually the freestyle stuff's it's priced pretty good, and I think it's hard to give away like 3 premium full size Liga Privadas at like a lower price point. And you know, if it's like, all right, well, we're charging $80 for a Freestyle Live, I go like, wow.
Then it's
why are you charging $80? Well, we know what it is. It's a new Liga line, so
I also, yeah, and you know, the other thing is I've always felt that Liga's the Freestyle Live program is not really the way you want to introduce that. But I can see
it's their
doing it
premier
with
line.
Yeah, it's a premier line. I think you need to treat that. And I'm not disrespecting the Freestyle Live program, which has been great. I can see them doing it with a Papas Fritas, so that makes some sense.
Well, the other thing too is that Papas Fritas, like, it does make sense because it's you know, for what it's a I don't want to say inexpensive. I mean, it's a much lower price cigar even within the Liga family. So like, yeah, you can get away with it. But like, if that was like a regular like Liga, like Toro or a Robusto or like something like, nah, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. I mean, before I cut it, I mean, my initial thought was, hey, maybe they're expanding the Undercrown line into the Papas Fritas. I mean, there was a brief thought there, but as soon as, like I said, as soon as I cut it and took a cold draw, I knew exactly what it was.
I kept thinking maybe another Nika Rustica. I kept thinking with that. That's what, or a new brand. I just wasn't thinking. I said it was. I wasn't thinking $8.99 for sure. That's what I'm saying. Man, they don't have enough tobacco yet to do a Freestyle Live, you know.
JJ asked this question, and I thought it was interesting. I think it means like, are any of you covering El Septimo, and why?
Yeah, I'm covering them.
Yeah, I mean,
they communicate with the media. We didn't get to them at the booth last year. You know, things happen at sometimes you can't get to the person. We'll be back, but they communicate with the media. So
they don't always like what we have to say.
They don't always like what we have to say, though. Yeah, they don't always like it, but they do communicate with us. More than other companies, I might add.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we rehashed this situation, you know, not too long ago, but there was an incident where I commented on something and they got all upset and they started attacking everybody on the post online, and we're still gonna go in there and cover it. I don't think I'm gonna go into that booth because it probably won't be good. So I'll send others into the booth, but because I don't play that game. But yeah, they'll get covered because it's our job. But if they don't play nice at the show, then they won't. But I mean, you got to be open to some criticism as a brand.
Yeah.
I had a listener message me recently about the show and tried to call me out and say, "Oh, like you didn't message El Septimo privately about that issue." And I'm like, I think you misunderstand what the media's job is. It's not about like secret whispers behind closed doors, because it's like, where's the integrity in that? So no, I did my job. I commented on something, and they didn't like it. So to your point, Luigi, yeah, no, that's not how it works. So
Yeah, we'll say something about that, though. Is like, even if they don't like what you have to say, and I mean, if you have snarky dialogue back and forth, whatever, it still gets both companies out there, and it still gets more people to hear about it. I mean, it might be negative, might be positive, whatever. People are talking about, people are talking about smoking tobacco. People are talking about El Septimo. It doesn't matter. People are talking about it. That's what we're here for.
it's true. We're doing our job.
Yeah, we have to do our job, and if they're making an attempt to communicate with us, I certainly will make an attempt to go to them at the trade show. Last year was one of those booths we didn't get help, but again, there was no one available, and we just couldn't wait around. So, and we just didn't get back there. So, we covered them. We just didn't do a video with them. But I want to go back and talk to them this year. So, yeah, but we're covering them. We're covering them. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean I like what they're doing, agree what they're doing, or not disagree one way or another. But if you're communicating with the Coop team, we're going to give you a shot.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what we do. I mean,
and if you're not communicating with the Coop team, you're probably not going to get a visit this year. I don't know what else to say. So it's going to be, because I know I'm going to, this is the time of the year where you hear from companies once a year, right? That's the only time they want to talk to you. Is you're at the trade show and you want to come by. We can't do that. It's not fit. We have another like 80, 90 companies who are constantly communicating with us. We have to be fair to them. Yeah.
100%. I'll echo everything that Coop just said.
If it's a new company, it's a different story. We use the show to get to know them. If there's new management in the company, like a good example, like Sans Perel this year has new management. Mm-hmm. They used to never communicate with us. Now they're communicating with us. I think we owe them a visit. So we're gonna do that this year.
I agree on that, especially that one specifically. I agree, and we're in the exact same boat. And that's a booth that is on our list of, like, we cannot miss this one because that's one we need to get into. Everything you said, I fully agree. I mean, I don't know, while we're kind of on this like administrative topic. There's a lot of things that when it comes to covering this industry, everyone does things differently, and from time to time you have to make adjustments to how you do things. And there's a lot of good reasons why. And, unfortunately, sometimes you have to do things a little outside of, the norm, I guess. But look, we've reviewed our policy on covering certain things at Smokin Tobacco, and our new policy is if it's in the universe and it's public, it's getting covered. Yeah. Just want to make that statement. If it's out there and I read it somewhere else, it's going on my website. Not waiting for anything. It's going out. That's my stance. It's not changing, and that's the end of the discussion. Just not playing the games anymore. So that's all I have to say on it, but just wanted to make that statement. That's all. Everyone's on notice. Anyway, so back to the actual trade show discussion. So, of the releases that have been announced, Kevin, I'll go with you first. Then I'll go to Coop. Kind of mix it up. Which one are you most excited about? Personally, take like just like as an individual. You see all these products. What are you excited about the most that we do know is coming, that you've maybe seen, maybe you read something about? You're like, you know what? I really want to try that. It's high on my list.
Damn. There's actually, I mean, there's maybe three for me that I'm gonna say. I mean, one is Crown Heads. I know they have a I can't remember the name. Is it like Coronetta or something like that? I think
Canada.
is the name of it.
Yeah, which
I
means
mean,
small crown.
right. I'm a big Crown Heads fanboy. I mean, love Miguel, love John Hoover, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Um, the barber pole from Dissident. I have always been a fan of barber pole cigars. I love what they have to offer. The fact that that's coming out of, that's James Brown has a
Oveja
hand in
Negra.
that one. Yeah, at Oveja Negra, I think that one's going to be. That one has the potential to be a banger, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then, I mean, this is probably no surprise. I personally like Lanceros, so I am really looking forward to the Saka sampler.
It's funny. I'm excited about that, and the Hoya Lancero, because I'm a Lancero guy too, and I'm excited about both of those, and especially with Saka, because we all know how he is about it, and I think it's funny. But I am.
Well, I remember the whole "now leave me the hell alone."
Now he has the GFY.
Debacle. So I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, pretty much, Saka's at the point everything he touches is gold. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. I mean, not to discount others. Macau Blue. I mean, that's technically already been released, but I mean that's another one that I think's with the success
it had tiny launch, yeah.
Yeah, with the success of Black last year, I think that's going to be, that's going to have a lot of potential. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of traction that has behind it as well.
That's true. Yeah, McAuliffe's been doing some good things with their releases. Black. It was high on the list. I think it was number 5? I don't even remember. It was high on the list though. It was in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
It performed really well. We talked about this I think on Wednesday.
We did.
McAuliffe is another one now that seems to be kind of getting into that like color-coded branding that we've seen with like some other brands, and it's kind of cool because
they needed to do it. They needed to do that though. It's simple branding for them.
Yeah, we talked about that. Like for the average consumer, you know what I mean? It's like you go in and you smoke a McAuliffe, Leenda or Herencia, right? And a regular guy or lady, might smoke that cigar, love it. They go home, they circle back to the cigar shop weeks later. Oh, I had that McAuliffe. Oh, I don't remember which one it was, but it was fantastic. Was it this one? And then maybe they get confused and they're like, oh, I think it was that one. And then they smoke like, oh, it wasn't that. But you go in there and you're like, oh, McAuliffe, the blue one or the black one. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, and we talked about this. There's a lot of like just simple color branding that's been going on, and I think that's good for a lot of people. It's easier to remember, and look, not everyone's like us. Not everyone like knows everything that's going on all the time, and like knows everybody who's putting everything out. Like regular people, they smoke cigars and they enjoy it, but they don't pay attention to it. That's not a knock. I don't expect them to. But yeah, it's nice when they can be like, oh yeah, the black one from McAuliffe. Oh, done. It is. I do like that strategy. I know that some people are like, oh well, it's kind of unoriginal. It's just colors. It's like, yeah, but from a business perspective, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but a lot of companies do it. I mean, they don't call it blue, black, or whatever, but I mean, it's still, they're blends and different wrapper leaves and whatnot. They're color coded. The wrappers are color coded, so they're identifiable by color.
Yeah.
Nicole said another good one is Perdomo with the yellow, red, blue. That's true. They do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Camacho.
Really, Camacho.
Dan Thompson brought this up too. This is kind of another like color branding is a gift. No trademark issues. Spanish names too tough.
Yeah, it is. People can't relate to them.
Yeah.
Us gringos can't relate to them.
Yeah. He makes a very good point.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Coop?
No, go ahead.
No, that was it. I'm done.
I was gonna say I didn't know if you want me to kind of go through what I was thinking about.
Yeah, no, I do. Sorry, we got off on a tangent. Yeah, Coop, I want to know what you're thinking too.
Okay, so on Thursday, I'm gonna tell you something, but but it's different than what I'm doing on. So Thursday, the team's putting out our picks for cigars, right? But that pick works a little different in that it's not really about me being personal, what I'm looking forward to, and I only limit that to regular production. But that being said, there's 2 cigars that are not regular. That, as far as I don't know if one is regular production or not. The other one I do know is limited. And to me, they just did the 2 standout cigars that are going to be at the show. It's Padron 60th and LaFleur 30th. I mean, those are the 2. To me, those are the 2 that are going to be the big impact cigars this year that I would love to get my hands on and smoke. So I think those are big ones certainly to do as far as that goes, because I think I doubt I'll smoke either one of them at the show. I'm going to be completely honest with you on that. So those would be 2 that are on there. I just haven't been getting excited about a lot of the limiteds this year. I got to be honest with you. They just I don't know. I know you mentioned Dissident, and I know they've had barber poles. I don't know. I wanted something more than Dissident than another limited edition this year. Not saying it's not going to be good. It could be a fantastic cigar, right? And I could be eating my words on that. So that was another one. Pete's got the Cajonio 2012s coming out in Tuxtla and Corojo this year.
Yep.
Those are really, and I think that's going to be the book. He's going to do it in a book release this year, from what I understand, at least to start it out.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see what that blend could do in those 2 wrappers. He's also got broadleaves coming out in the 15 and the 18. So those are confirmed releases that we have. I don't have much of the details of pricing, box counts, or any of that yet, but I do know that those are coming out. So I think Tatawai's certainly got stuff I'm very interested in this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of echo what you said. For me, it's been LaFleur, Padron. They're bringing some big anniversary stuff. LFD's got a couple of things going on.
LG's getting, I guess, showed off again. Even though I have smoked the LG now, so I got it down a pro cigar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a big one. Their 30th is a big deal. And Lito Gomez is turning 70 this year.
Yeah, he is. 70 years. That guy, no one could party like him at 70. I'm just going to tell you that, right? That guy could party. I've seen him party at Pro Cigar. Trust me, this guy, I can't keep up with him. Him and Nestor Miranda, who's 80. You can't keep up with either of those guys.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they did something, even if it was limited, like to celebrate that. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, not everyone makes it to 70. Not that it's like 100, but it's 70 is something to be proud of. But yeah, and I know they got some other stuff going on that's a little unrelated. LFT's got a lot going on. If you saw the show on Wednesday, with Carney, he talked a lot about what's going on. I don't think he was fully specific on everything. But yeah, LFD is a booth to watch at the show this year. And they were a booth to watch a few years ago when they came back to the trade show, but this year it's not just because they're back. It's not just because they're showing off their NFT thing. They have some strong stuff that I think that they're gonna do. And then Padron it's Padron. I mean the 60th. I mean we've it's been talked about, and that's a very major release. I mean, to Coop's point, that's a huge release.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a major Padron release since Damaso in 16. So 15, I mean, that was like 15, I believe it was, not 16. So we haven't had a major Padron release in a long time right now.
Right.
So, Fuente Padron was a different thing. I'm not counting that. So it's been a long, long time. I'm starting to look at what's going to be my company of the trade show, and I have about 4 companies. They're one of the 4, so that it could be, because it used to be. Now I look at who is going to be the company that had the most releases, but lately I think it's more about who's going to make the biggest splash now. And like I said, Padron, the fact that they're going to do I don't know if they're doing an unveiling, but they're going to have something at the keynote this year. It sounds like that's going to be discussed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I'm excited for that. Padron is, again, like you said. I mean, they're one of those companies where they don't need to drop a bomb every year. You know, they
No,
do their
they can
thing.
drop the bomb the day before the trade shows. They normally don't make their announcements till 2 days or a day before the show opens. They're
No, but not
always
even,
beforehand.
but not even that. Like just in general, like even bringing something to the trade show, right? Like they don't have to bring something massive every year. I mean, Padron is one of those
No.
brands where they're going to keep on trucking on very solidly no matter what they do. So when they do drop something big like a 60th, it's a big deal because
Yeah.
it's not like you're just another Padron. It's like, oh shit, there's a new Padron and it's a big one. Yeah, that carries a lot of weight. That's going to
But
be
we don't know.
definitely a
We
highlight
don't.
of the show.
But we know nothing about what that's going to be yet. So I'm kind of,
True.
I had an idea what the Perdomo last year. We didn't know about it, but I had an idea it was going to be a 3-blend thing, and that we knew. We just didn't know what it was going to look like, what it was going to be packaged like. But we knew what. But Padron's a bigger mystery. Is it going to be a family series? Is it going to be a whole new line?
And that's
Is it
what
gonna be
Jay was asking.
extension bigger?
Will it be family reserve or a
We,
new line?
we don't know. It could be a line extension, right? It could be simple line extensions to the 26 or the 64. So I'm trying not to. That's why I don't think I could say they would be the company of the show, just because I don't know enough about what that release is yet. That's why I couldn't even pick it for one of my top 5 cigars either, because I don't know if it's limited or ongoing. I have no idea about that one.
True, but I think as people of the media going to the show and what do we, trying to find. I think the Padron booth is still one that's high on the list to get to, because of that reason to see, and learn more. Then from there, it's like, well, is this going to be a big deal?
Well,
But I think it's still a big deal that something's coming, going to the show. What happens after the show is a different discussion.
Yeah, see, here's what the one thing I kind of am concerned about is if they make a big thing about 60 years in business, and then it's 2 line extensions to the 64s, a natural. I mean, that's going to be a letdown. There's no way around that. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I don't think that's how Padron's thinking. I think they're putting more into this, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you want to talk about like the big guys right now. We've talked about General. We've talked about we've talked about like the medium, the upper medium. We talked about Drew Estate. Let's talk about Altadas for a second. I know Davidoff won't be there, so we can leave that out. But let's talk about Altadas. As like kind of the last the major company. I know that they did announce that they're bringing a Monte Cristo.
Yep.
An ultra premium Monte Cristo with a MSRP of $150 per cigar.
Sure. Yep.
Which I thought was interesting. Didn't think
I
it was
think
a
so,
bad
too.
thing. I thought it was very interesting. I was just kind of like, oh wow, I didn't really see that coming. But I know me and you kind of talked about that, and I kind of understood after, all right, that does make sense. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to have that discussion.
No, I think it's worth having because it's been a polarizing topic. So my theory was this, right? Monte Cristo is the premium brand of Altadis USA. We see what's going on with Habanos with these brands, right? So why not Altadis take their most premium brand and do something? They've done other Monte Cristos which have been more expensive, but they did the BRM with the watch, which I believe was more expensive, those cigars. But here's what I say. We all the time say cigars are a luxury item. How many times do we hear this? They are a luxury item. We tell the FDA they are a luxury item.
Yep.
There are watches that are luxury items. There are pens that are luxury items. There are cars that are luxury items. There are spirits that are luxury items. What is the crime in taking a cigar and making a luxury item in the brand that's your most premium brand, Monte Cristo? I don't see the controversy on this. It's not a cigar that I call it the Rob Report cigars. That's what they're going to be. That's what the cigars are intent. I want to smoke that cigar. Don't get me wrong. I want to really smoke it. But again, I think that is why that cigar is being released. It's not being released to try to gouge the public. I think what Habanos is doing is very different, okay? Because there were people who were smoking Habanos for years and years, and now suddenly they can't do it anymore. I think what they're doing here, there's plenty of good Monte Cristos that are more affordable if you want those, or other brands in the Altadis portfolio. They're targeting something here, and I applaud them for it.
Yeah, I mean, we had that discussion. I said, I see where you're going with that, and it makes sense to me. I would say, Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the brands
Yeah.
under that, Altadas umbrella, the Tabacco USA, yeah, I would say Monte Cristo's. I think it's safe to say that's probably their highest end name.
It's nice, yeah.
Maybe
Romeo maybe second.
I was gonna
yeah.
say Romeo. Romeo's up there too, but just watching some of the stuff, I feel like Monte Cristo's just got a little more of an edge over the Romeo brand. Just watching what they've done with it. But I agree, Coop. I think Romeo should be a solid number 2 behind the Monte Cristo brand for them, and then so on and so forth down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know what? They do this. Maybe do we see something like that in the Romeo brand in the future?
They might. They did the Bed of Roses humidor, if you remember, a few years ago. I think that was
Yeah.
at TPA.
Yep.
So they could. Romeo's a little more of an everyday cigar, but they have done some premium items in there. So I could see them certainly go. That would be if they're going to try to enter the space maybe again next year. Maybe they do something like that with Romeo, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. If you did with St. Louis Ray, I'd question it a lot. Okay, so but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense to me. Do we also think that there's going to be some stuff from Altadas that doesn't get announced till either like the day before the show or at the show?
We heard a couple of things. They weren't ready to talk about it. Sounds like there's something under H. Upman that's coming. There's a couple of those TP releases that haven't been released yet. So there'll be, I think the 2 that haven't been released were the Romeo Barber poles was one, and the new St. Louis Ray Ultramar was the other. So I think you'll see them get a push at PCA this year. They really haven't been released yet. So I think, Altadis has never won to release like 10 new cigars. If they have 3 or 4, that's what they've always been comfortable with this year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Tiamo. And Tiamo is already out, but that's going to get a big push, Tiamo.
That'll get a lot of highlight. Yeah.
Tiamo's going to be the brand they're really investing in this year. So, yeah, it's going to get highlighted. So, yeah, that would be the other one I would say.
That's true. I almost forgot about that, too.
And that's because that's a resurrection of an older brand, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, because Kevin, you spoke with Alejandro at TPE about Tiamo. Yeah. So Kevin actually kind of already got a little bit of a first-hand look at that.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, and I see a lot of success in that brand.
Look, when you're talking to him, he is the guy when it comes to San Andreas Tobacco. I mean, he is the top guy. So.
It was enlightening talking to him at TPE.
He's such a nice guy. I've met him in person a few times. He's really a nice guy. I always say I wish they would have did more Casa Turrent. That was his brand. It's a good brand of cigars. They're good. They just never marketed them here for whatever reason, but they were really good.
Yeah, I smoked a few of those. Those actually are very good cigars.
There's just no marketing behind them. Yeah.
No.
So. Another question, I guess, to discuss outside of kind of what's coming out. What are you excited about? Show in general. Sounds like the traffic's going to be up this year, based on conversations that we've had with PCA.
Will it translate to foot traffic? Badges will be up. So my thing is, if they can get the 2,400 badges this year, I think it's a big success for them, right? You can't, and that would be about a 10% increase. So if they get up to about 2,400, good. That's an excellent show, and then we'll have to just judge the foot traffic after that.
Based on what I saw at TPE, I expect floor traffic or foot traffic to be insane.
Well, I think the last day, though. I think you're right. I think that Monday is the one I'm concerned about. Mm-hmm. That's the day I'm concerned. But I think it will be. I think it will be up because you're right. People didn't go. And here's the big advantage of PCA. I've heard people say the PCA show should be in the middle of the week. Look, if you got Saturday and Sunday, that's an attractive point for people to be on the trade show for the weekend. So I don't think it's I think the days are fine that they have for it right now.
Yeah, I
still think. I mean, my take on that is I still think a Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be better.
Go with the Thursday being the pre-day.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with you. I think that would be better.
I think that would be ideal because the Monday now, now you're into the tail end of 1 week and the beginning of another week that you're going to have to take off. So I still think, to your point, Coop, I think Monday, you're still going to see slow foot traffic just like you would typically see on the half day.
Yeah, and I think you'll see about 2 o'clock people starting to try. When that happen, if that happens, 2 o'clock people will be packing up the booze, not 5 o'clock. That's just the nature of things.
Yeah, and I've already told the team too. Like, listen, we don't have the half day where people got to stay through at least the full 3, and then we got the half day to fix mistakes, get caught up, whatever, get some extra. We got 3 days, and that third day now maybe not be like the third day we've known in the past. So, everyone's got to be on point when it comes to covering the show because we have a lot less time. And it doesn't seem like it, but the reality is it is, at least from the media perspective.
Yeah.
Which, Coop, I'm sure you've talked to the coalition about too. I mean, it's...
We did, but I also told them I don't want anyone burnt out. I don't want anyone burnt out on this show. So the answer is we are content to come out with less booze than we did last year. And that's because I don't want anyone burnt out. Now, we have a couple of options to split off a little more this year. So that's going to be something a little different that we normally haven't split off. We're going to do some of that this year.
As we will do,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm fine with that. And there's booze that we won't be doing video in. And we've told any company, we've said this, if we miss you, just like we are happy to do a Zoom call with you after to give you like a dedicated Zoom call. We did that with Room 101 last year. Matt was like, hey, I'm really, because Matt had to go be somewhere else when we were at the booth. So we said, hey, we'll take care of you. We took care of him the Friday we got home. We did we dedicated Zoom call, and it was part of our regular PCA coverage. It just wasn't in the booth.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a good strategy too. As long as you get the information, and you know
right.
what you're doing.
We took the photos. We had all the photos. Hey, Matt, we know these are the 3 releases. Just talk about them, and that's what he did, and it worked out well. So we're happy to do that, and we're happy to do that even if you have like no new product. I said, it's just we have to be very judicious with our time this year, and I don't want the team burning. And there's a few other things we have to do this year. Just maybe intangible stuff at the trade show this year. So. Not necessarily as wrapper binder filler either. So, and that's the other thing. We're just trying to make sure we have a good story every when we go into every booth. We're prepared, things like that. We just having those little things taken care of. But we want to make sure the Spirits Pavilion's covered this year. Well, hopefully we may get into the BCA Pavilion this year. I mean, we saw they did very well last year, so there are things like that we want to get to. Are we going to? The big thing we're trying to figure out if we're going to be able to cover the awards on Sunday. That may be a tough one right now.
Right.
We want to, because I don't know how good or bad they're going to be, but we want to see them. We want to see it in action. Day one, I basically told day one. I said you guys can do whatever you want on day one. The team relax or hang out. But I said day one's pretty good to hang out at those seminars because they're gonna have the Padron, Nick Malillo, and stuff like that, hand rolled. So, but I gave that as an option day, and I said basically the days 1 to 3, I just want to really need you guys on the floor. So,
Matt, you and I were talking about day one the other day, and there really is a lot of interesting stuff happening. It's literally a full day one, even though the show floor's not open.
That's true, and as I also told Kevin, I had the same approach too. Like, if we don't get to that stuff, like, it's fine. If people want to do things, like, I get it. But like Coop said, there is some good stuff there. So, maybe at least try to go to some of it. But I get it. I get it. Especially that's a time when people are still coming in, and I get it.
Yeah.
The show floor hours. That's why we're there.
Yeah, I told her, I said, look, we're gonna try to, the little things, the badges, we're gonna take care of that. We don't want to be doing that on Saturday morning, so because the floor opens. So.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So I actually remembered I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit because there was another one that I wanted to specifically bring up. That Coop, you are so graciously advertising tonight. Oliva. So last year, we saw a lot of products come out of the Oliva booth. Some limiteds, some humidors, some other products. They had some really good stuff going on there. Now, they haven't made a lot of announcements.
They haven't made any, as far as I saw.
Any, yeah. So I'm assuming I assume they bring at least something. But I assume we won't know till the show. Do we see as many products as we did last year though?
No, I think it will be less. I think
Because
it'll be less.
I don't, because Oliva is also another one of those brands where like they had a really like big year release wise last year. Like there was a lot of different stuff at the booth, but I don't see them doing that every year. Even though they're a
Yeah,
big company, I don't see that.
I don't see that either. It was a shorter year. I could see them re-showcasing the $300 cigar, which hasn't been released to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think it has.
I
That's
think
the
there'll be
gold
maybe
one,
next-
right? That's that gold like
Yeah.
Perfecto that they're doing.
Yeah, that's the Daniel Marshall one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I could see them in maybe a line extension they throw in or something like that. I think they're a little different, leave it than they were previously. I think under Vandermollery's, they do like to come out with something at the trade show every year. So I don't think they'll be empty.
Yeah.
But that's a booth we're gonna have to stop at because we got to see if they haven't announced anything. They're a big enough company. We got to see if they have anything. So
Yeah, I expect something to be there. I don't expect
Yeah.
them to be like, oh yeah, we're just here. Like, no,
Yeah.
I don't think that they'll have a heavy year, but I think that they'll have something.
they did a year of the Dragon for Asia. That's the only thing I know they did this year.
Right. Right.
And we got press information on it, by the way. Which
we
is
did.
more than we used, which has been that's a change we've seen right now. Like Leva's getting a lot more better at this right now.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in that booth at the show last year, and I'm seeing the benefits of that. So again, that's a booth I will spend not like forever, but like I'm gonna spend a decent amount of time in that booth again this year.
And they were great. They've been great every year we've gone there.
100%.
We've been going there every year, and now it's a little easier because there's a contact there. We didn't. That was always the trouble, is there wasn't a contact, so it was hard to cover that booth, and we had to navigate through people we knew in the field to get to the people. And we still have to do that with some booths, by the way. There's still some booths out there that don't have, like, in our bigger companies, and we have to navigate that route. And we found it usually works. It hasn't. We haven't usually had a problem with it.
Yeah, I feel like I was in the same boat. And that's why like the first few years we didn't really cover them because that same reason. It was just the first few years I went in the booth and they were really busy, which that's not really a complaint. I mean, they should be. I mean, they should be sitting down with people writing orders.
But
That's why they're
they
there.
always had time for it. They always had time for us.
Right, but
Even
it
when
was hard.
yeah.
But you're right. It was like hard to find the point person. Like they didn't really have the point. But then I went to the booth last year, and there was several people who I spent time with. Including their marketing person, Laura, who's great. She took really great care of us. Matt Mangini was great to us. Spent a lot of time with him. They are great people. And I'm excited to go back to them again this year because I expect it to be an even better experience. But yeah, they do a great job. And I know that you've been high on this this topic of people not really covering Oliva. And I kind of understand why people weren't, but I think that there should be no reason why people are not now. If you're still not covering Oliva, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, if my competitors don't want to cover them, I don't really care. It's not my problem. And it's better for me because then it's just more hits on my site. But at the same time, they are good people, and it's at a point where like if you're not covering them, that's on you, and you're dropping the ball because I think you're right. They have a much better structure in place now too, so it's even easier than it was.
You still have to do your due diligence to get the information you need to properly cover that booth, but
of course.
It's definitely doable and 100% rewarding if you put in the effort to do so.
Yeah. The other one I know you've put the effort in, and I know we've put the effort in, is Ashton. We've gotten you and I both know Andy Green. I think he's a friend of ours for sure. A booth that has been tremendous to cover over the last few years for us. We've gotten great support from the Ashton, and that's how I worked through my rep, and my rep got me to Andy and introduced me back in 2021. And they have the Noblesse being re-released this year in a new blend.
I was gonna bring that up.
I think that's an exciting project. So, um,
Mhm.
I think Ashton is like I said, they work a little different, but um, it's not we've ever had problems in that booth or like we were hanging out with Andy. We spent 35 minutes with Andy in that booth, I think, when we were there each year. So he is always responsive. This guy too.
Yeah,
And I,
I
I
was gonna
love what they've
say.
been doing. I love what they're doing. Yeah.
I was gonna say Ashton is another one of those brands where like they like Padron, like they don't always have something new and like anything like this I mean like there was one year where I think they just had the fresh packs that they were working on, but like they don't always have something
Still new. It's still new. It's
which
still
which
something
which
new.
which is fine,
Yeah.
which is fine because
Don't. Yeah.
they don't want to
Yeah.
oversaturate their SKUs and it works for them and they're one of those brands. They've been around a while. Um, so yeah, I mean when they do have something, it is exciting because it's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
Ashton's got
Don't.
something.
Even with the fresh packs, right? It doesn't make for a sexy interview, okay? But let me tell you, fresh packs are hot and they do good traffic
They
for
are.
us. And we did a show on samplers and it was like over the top numbers we had with it. So yeah, it's not a sexy one-on-one interview with PCA, and that may be one we don't do an interview with if someone has a fresh pack, but we certainly cover that, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, the other thing too is, the fresh pack, like you said, the fresh packs are important. They've replaced all the tubos, or
Yeah.
eventually they will. We've talked to a lot of manufacturers like, yeah, instead of doing the tubos, we could just do like 5 of them in a pack, and they're fresher and they're more eye catching, and and people are buying them. I mean, we talked to retailers, manufacturers, people
Yeah.
love those fresh packs, love them.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, a
They
lot of
do. They
manufacturers
do.
are putting them out now, and they're great.
Perdomo knocked it out of the park when they did it.
They're
with
one of the
theirs.
best ones.
Yeah, they're one of the best ones. They do it like horizontal and vertically. So if you want them by size in different blends, or you want it in a blend in different sizes,
By wrapper
they
shape.
display really nice. Yeah, yeah. It's a great or by wrapper shade too. It's a perfect. In my opinion, they've executed on those really, really well. The guy I'm surprised wasn't in fresh packs yet, Saka. So I think that will eventually come.
You know what? That's actually I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I could see him doing it, like especially with like Mi Querida would be the one probably. Um, but yeah, I think the portfolio's getting big enough where he could start doing that pretty soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, they don't make a sexy interview at PCA. Don't get me wrong, they're not, but yeah, you could still get a 5-minute interview with that, and get some video content. So yeah, even the year we were at Ashton, it was very interesting because, that year I remember that guy spent a lot of time talking about what went into the coloring and stuff like that. And from what I understand, now that they got through La Roma to Cuba, I think San Cristobal is going to be getting a similar makeover, maybe not as extensive, but I think something's going to be happening with San Cristobal next. Probably we'll see that next year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I feel like that brand's been well. It's funny because I remember. So Nicole is really big on the Ovation.
Great cigar. I
great
agree with
cigar.
her on that.
And I remember like every time like we'd go into a shop and we'd find some, she'd grab them because she liked them.
They're limited. They're
Yeah.
tough to get. Yeah.
And I think she still has a few tucked away. But I remember bringing it up to Andy and be like, Andy, like, what's going on with this? Like, Nicole fucking loves those. And he was like, the response I got was like, it's not gonna be gone forever. Like, we're gonna revisit that.
Yeah.
So my question is, I don't expect it this year, obviously. I think we probably know, but maybe over the next couple years, maybe we see them do something again with that Ovation. And it sounds like they've been talking about it amongst themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
After hearing that from him last year. So I don't know, maybe that's another thing that we see pop up again.
Yeah, it was the same answer I got on the Noblesse, which is a great cigar. I didn't know they were going to reblend it because I thought the blend was really good, but they obviously have something in mind with that, which is really good. So I'm excited about what they're doing with Noblesse. And by the way, I dig the lavender packaging they did it with. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
like I
pastel
said,
purple.
it's funny because I see this is where I go, and I'm not trying to pick on Kevin. I'm not trying to pick on Dissident here, Dissident gets more coverage than Ashton from Cigar Media, and there's nothing wrong. I think Dissident should get coverage, but Ashton should certainly be getting at least the same amount of coverage as Dissident.
Oh, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
that is kind of almost like an anomaly, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's so. I think they're going to a little better, like I said. But I think if media guys go there, like I said, it's a place you're going to be welcome. And usually they've told us to go there day 3 is what they've always said to me. So that's kind of the pattern I've gotten into with them now.
Yeah, they're definitely one of those booths that are high in traffic, and it makes sense. I mean, look.
Well, it's like a legacy brand. I mean,
tell me a shop that doesn't carry Ashton. And I know that they do exist, but
Right.
that list ain't that long.
Yeah, there ain't many of them.
Yeah. There's not many of them. It's
that I know of. I think 2 come to mind, and one of them I don't know why they don't carry them, although they're a more boutique focused shop, so that makes sense. The other one doesn't carry them because of business disagreements. Outside of that, I mean, I don't know anyone that don't carry them. I
can think of one offhand.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like tell me a cigar shop that doesn't carry Macanudo.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
and I guarantee you'll see. And my thing is, I guarantee if you did an over under for me on Macanudo at the trade show, there'll be 2.
I think so too.
Why wouldn't you? That's your biggest brand.
I think so. I mean, Macanudo, I expect to see something new.
I think there'll be a flavored Macanudo, my guess, and a regular Macanudo they'll do. Or maybe a regular and a limited, something like that.
Do you think there'll be another Flint Knoll?
There is going to be another Flint Knoll.
There is? Did I miss that? Sorry.
It's gonna be a 2023 vintage release, and I believe Aaron from Flint Knoll is going to be at the show this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. This is just stuff I've been working the back channels.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we had Aaron on KMA, and he talked about there was a 3-year plan with the Flint Knoll series, which is an incredible series, by the way.
Yeah, I absolutely freaking love that cigar.
Top 10 it was for us last year. Yep. I think Bear would have gave it number 1 had it not. His rule is when he does his list, it's no limited. So, but I think that would have been his number 1 if he had it for sure.
I remember the first one I had construction issues with, but it tasted fantastic. I was like, wow, this is great. But the wrapper was really brittle, and it was like really thin. Kevin, I think you had that issue too, didn't you? You smoked it.
Yeah, because I tried to smoke it outside like a dumbass.
Well, I mean, you know.
I mean, if I would have had it in the lounge here, I probably would have been okay. But I took it outside and it blew up. But that wrapper was very frail in that cigar. But like you said, the flavor was like off the charts.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. And the Churchill was the size.
Yes.
So a lot of people had the Toro. And I think Mitchell had some mixed experience with the Toro, and as did I. But the Churchill was very consistent. Yeah, the Churchill was very consistent to me. I went through 2 boxes of those.
Yeah, I didn't smoke the Toro. I've only had the Churchill, and wow. Yeah. So that's exciting to know that that's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know after the 3-year run what happens, but I think they made a commitment for a 3-year run with those.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that because, again, like I thought the flavor on that was just the blend, the complexity. It was like, wow, this is great.
And Aaron, the guy behind the brand, is Flint Knoll is a great guy. I mean, we interviewed him on KMA. Great guy. I hope we get to talk to him on PCA.
Me too. You know, there's gonna be a lot of interesting people at the trade show. I was gonna bring this up too. Obviously, there will be some celebrities in attendance.
Yep.
Guy Fieri will be there at the Espinosa booth.
Yep.
Gurkha's bringing Mike Tyson for an hour on the first day.
He's bringing him for an hour. Yep. He'll be there. The fact he'll be there is good for them. It's a good thing. By the way, I think this is a good project for Gurkha. I'm really happy for them on that. And I think the cigar has some potential. I really do because it's coming from El Artista, which they've had some of their best blends out of.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially with his name behind it. I mean, that's just huge. I mean, there's a big opportunity to introduce people to the world that have never experienced, that aren't in the cigar world, that are going to experience it just because it's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Chaz
Yeah.
Palminteri will be there again with his Bronx
Yeah,
Tail
I think
cigars.
Yep. He'll be there because now it's a core line, so
Yep.
now it's going to be ongoing. So he's going to be in this for a while.
Jay asked the question: ZZ Top coming? So Billy Gibbons was at TPE with a cigar, and
That
the
was
question
so cool.
is, and Kevin and Barbara got to meet him as well as Mike Tyson, although he wasn't in the cigar area at the time. But yeah, I was wondering, Coop. We talked about this the other day. I'm like, does Billy Gibbons come to PCA? I mean, you go to TPE for a cigar launch. I mean,
Yeah,
you
if
gotta go
he's
to
there,
PCA.
he'll be at the De Los Reyes compound booth, where all those brands are. So that's where I would guess if he's there. And that's another booth. If you're overlooking the De Los Reyes booth, they got some great brands in there and great people. One of the best factories in the DR for sure. So I hope he's there. We'll give them a nice boost at that booth.
I will say, talking to him at TPE, his excitement for it and his involvement with the people that were there was huge. So that's important, with the cigar celebrities. If the cigar celebrity is standoffish and doesn't really want to back up, and push and make the brand successful, I think that's where there's a major fail. I mean, I think Billy Gibbons and his excitement in it and whatnot, and his love for people that smoke cigars is going to be just absolutely huge.
Yep.
Last year, Carl Malone was at the show last year too.
He was. I didn't see him last year. But I have interviewed Carl, and he's a great guy, by the way. So he'll be at La Aurora. He's very tight with La Aurora, so I can't imagine him not being there.
So yeah, there's a chance he's roaming around the floor. Did I miss anybody?
I don't think Ortiz is going to be there. I don't think David Ortiz will be there. But
I don't think so.
He's got a cigar coming out.
Hall of Fame.
At the HOF. Yeah. So he's the other one. I don't know if I don't know who else will be. I mean, Ed Reed floats around every year. You see him, so I imagine he'll be hanging around Placencia. But definitely, it's you could argue it's a pretty good year for celebrity cigars.
I agree. I mean,
but look at the factories. That's the key thing. When you look at a celebrity cigar, look at the factory, and a lot of factories that are doing these are more legit factories that I'm seeing. El Artista, I think, is a factory on the rise. They're doing great. The De Los Reyes factory is doing Gibbons cigar. Great factory. El Artista is also doing the Tyson one for the Gurkha. Drew Estate's doing Hetfield.
Espinosa's got Knuckle Sandwich.
Yep. Dean Parsons is doing Chaz, and that's the factory that does Christoph. So it's the same factory. So these are good factories they're working with here. And I think that's so, how they're marketed, that's always the big question. I think Gurkha is really going to do a good push on this guy. I think they know they're not going to have Tyson doing events with him. So I think they've thought this one through already. And if you had a chance to do a cigar with Mike Tyson, look, I know all the past history of Mike Tyson, he paid his bet to society is what I tell people, right? So why not? Why not? I'm glad for those guys. I really am. I'm really glad for Juan and his team there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about celebrity cigars and how they've performed in the past, but it almost, I don't know. It almost seems like there's a potential now. I'm not saying that everything's great, but I feel like there's a potential now for that reputation to change. And Coop, I think the key part of it is, it's not the only part, but I think a key part is what you mentioned. It's like, well, look at who's making these cigars. You got some good factories and brands that will push it. I think that celebrities having cigar, I think they need to do a better job at pushing them for themselves too, because I think that helps. But yeah, I mean, quality cigars coming out of good factories is the first step.
Yeah, if you're gonna go business as usual though, and you don't have the celebrity, you better have another plan. I think Drew Estate did a really good plan. They didn't have Hetfield, but they had other things they've done to market that cigar. And it's not hurt that Hetfield's smoking that cigar in public at concerts and stuff. So,
Which, there's been a lot of videos of him smoking
a lot of it,
before he goes on stage.
Yeah. So, he's not doing the event tour, but there's other ways to do it. And I got to imagine Gurkha's got a plan. I can't see those guys not having a plan to push this cigar. Juan's been around forever. He understands this business. So I'm sure there's a plan, and I think that's a good question for Juan at the booth. Like, how are you gonna, sustain build, because they could build on this brand. If it's successful, why not build on this brand?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say too much, but in my conversations with Juan, what I will say is they are working on another celebrity as well, and that's all I can say. I don't want to say too much, but he said, "Hey, we got this other thing that we're trying to do."
I would say let Tyson to work first would be my thing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't want to say anything else, but they say, "Hey, we're trying to do something else as well." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So my point being is, they're putting a lot of effort into this kind of variety, which is interesting. And you know what? Like you said, I mean, my conversations with Juan and everyone over there, which they're great people. Gurkha continues to have this reputation. I think a lot of people know what it is, and I know why. And I think that knowing those guys personally, and covering them the last few years, I see them trying really hard to turn that tide. They're working so hard to kind of reinvent the Gurkha brand and do a lot of positive things, and I honestly wish them nothing but the best, and I give them the credit, and I look at them like, hey, Gurkha's doing things, and people are like, oh, fucking Gurkha, and it's like, you don't understand, like these guys, they know the mistakes that have been made in the past. They're working so tirelessly to change that narrative. Just give them a chance. That's all I ask people. Like, look, don't hate me for it. Understand, the position I'm in or that Coop's in, and Kevin, Kevin's sitting in front of their name. People ask, why is their name up there? Look,
they're supporting media.
Yeah,
and
they're doing a great job.
Well, and they're great individuals too. And to your point, I see a huge difference in Gurkha just in the past couple of years. So I see nothing but good to come.
Look at what they've done with the Year of the Dragon series. They're working with 5 legitimate Again, go back to the factories. El Artista did the first one, right? They've got Ernesto, they've got AJ Fernandez, they've got Oliva, and they've got Oscar Valadares. Those are factories that work very well and collaborate very well with other brands. And Gurkha's gotten signed up for that. And I saw the cigars at the Great Smoke. I saw the packaging there. The packaging was Gurkha packaging, but not over the top, is what I'm saying. It was really, really well done. So those are exciting. If you like cigars from those factories, why wouldn't you give those cigars a chance? If you're smoking Oscar stuff, why wouldn't you smoke the Gurkha Oscar? Unless you have a big beef with Gurkha, I understand that, right? But I wouldn't. I don't. Then those factories don't produce junk, is what I'm saying.
Well, there's a good reason to put your beef to bed too.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I know there's some truth to this, right?
Right.
But another thing I hear about Gurkha is like, oh, well, Gurkha doesn't make cigars though; they make packaging. To be fair, so does a lot of everyone else on that trade show floor.
Yeah. Now, here's one thing I'll say. If the things that Kaizai did with horrible things he said, if you have a problem with that, I have no problem with you not smoking that brand.
I agree.
Absolutely. I agree. Now, have they tried to fix a lot? I think they are trying to fix a lot of that, right? But don't get me wrong. If you had a problem with that, you have every right not to purchase that cigar, and who am I to say anything on that? So I'm not trying to sugarcoat that either.
I think that's a good point. And that specifically is an issue in its own, and I agree with that. I just feel like that's not the only problem people have with Gurkha. I think everyone has a different issue, and there's a lot of issues that I think have been mended, and people just don't want to see it that way. The Kaizad thing is a separate issue, and I agree. You can't really change that. But the other issues, they've put a lot of effort into.
If you're shitting on them like what is it, Blue Steel or something like that, that was just a license name they gave.
The licensing thing, I think, is the big thing, and I think people just don't understand that.
Well, but Gurkha has to take a little responsibility for that too. They did that, and they put
They
their name
do.
on that stuff.
They
Yeah,
do,
have to,
but at the same time, I think people don't understand that like it wasn't that Juan Lopez was like, all right, let's put out all this trash. Like this is great. Like
Juan came
they
in.
licensed the
to fix the problem.
name,
Yeah.
and other people did what they wanted with Gurkha's name. And yes, Gurkha has some responsibility there, but they at the same time they can't take all the blame on it, and they've made steps to get away from that, which I think is a big issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Kazad thing, I mean, obviously that's a big issue. But, I mean,
Correct.
I think there's a lot of people out there that hate on Gurkha just because other people hate on Gurkha. So it's just like the thing to do. And I got a feeling there is a good number of people out there that hate on the brand that have never even freaking smoked it. So how can you freaking hate on a brand that you haven't even tried?
Yep.
The Gurkha Ghost is made at PDR in the Dominican Republic by Abe Flores. It's a great cigar. I really like that cigar. Yeah.
I freaking love that cigar. Like the, what is it? It's the Ghost Angel Tubo. Like one of my favorites. I mean, that cigar is like black as night when you take it out of the tube, and it is such a freaking good cigar. I mean, if I took the band off of it and handed it to you to smoke, there's not a chance in hell you would love it, even if you hate Gurkha. And then if I told you it's a Gurkha, it's like, oh, you might come with the reason, oh, well, it sucked or whatever. It's like, well, you just liked it till you found out what it was. I mean, come on. I mean, credit is due or credit is due.
I've told Juan and Bianca how much I love that cigar. I've told Abe how much I love that cigar. I mean, they know. I mean, like, this cigar is fucking awesome. I wish people would at least give it a shot. I mean, if you try it and you're like, it's really not for me, that's fine. But I feel like there's just a lot of people out there who just go like, fuck them. And it's like, yeah, but like, have you tried some of these ones that are actually pretty good? Like, I can understand like the old CI shit, like, but like, have you tried the Ghosts? Like, especially like the Ghost Gold. Like, they've told us like that Ghost line that keeps the lights on. I mean, They got the biggest booth on the show floor. They're making money. So like people, all these people like hate on Gurkha, but at the same time, like they're making money.
In my opinion,
they wouldn't still be here.
Game changer for them. It was a game changer for them because I think it was one of the best. I had it on my decade list, the Gurkha Ghost, because I think it made huge impact in brick and mortar. Yeah.
No, sorry, Coop. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no. The Gurkha Ghost made my decade list for impactful brands. It was a big, impactful brand for Gurkha. Now, it isn't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big Arapiraca guy. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but I get what that cigar is about.
100%.
And they've done other blends with it. They've done the Gold and they've done the Connecticut. So there's other blends I can enjoy with that one. Arapiraca is not my cup of tea, but that's okay. I can't argue with the brand's done.
And they're just like any other company. I mean, sometimes, there's companies out there. I mean, they have cigars that are bangers, and they have cigars that are just not good. I mean, that's just a product of the business.
Yeah.
So I mean, not everything they make is golden, but I mean, they make some cigars that are worthy of people's attention. That I think just because of the banter and the bullshit that comes out just from cigar smokers in general, and the cigar aficionados, social media and whatnot, that they just don't get the credit they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, the other one I think that was a game changer for them was Collection Especial. Again, Matt knows it wasn't my favorite cigar. It wasn't a bad cigar. Right. But again, I think that gave them a lot of legitimacy as cigar makers, that cigar. That was something where, all right, Gurkha can really turn something around here. That cigar landed on a lot of lists the last couple of years.
Coop, remind me, what factory did that come out of?
PDR.
Yeah.
PDR. PDR has had mixed results as a factory. I ain't gonna lie about that. But the PDR branded stuff's pretty good that I've had. So I mean, again, they've done the stuff with Aganorsa the last couple of years. I think that's done well for them. So the
that reminds me.
I'm looking forward to trying the El Artista one.
That reminds me. There was something I wanted to bring up. So, Coop, I know you saw it, but Kevin, I don't know if you did. The Foundation news.
The renaming.
Yeah, so they've discontinued the LONce, and they're moving production from Aganorsa over to My Father. And they're kind of like redoing the Wise Man line, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember because I can't remember every little detail off the top of my head. I forget why did Nick discontinue Eloense?
I don't think those brands were doing as good as he would have liked.
As I don't know why. I was always under the impression that they were, but
I think the AJ stuff was doing much better for him.
yeah.
So and I think I don't know. There's business reasons why people leave a factory. So this is not. I'm not trying to create drama here. Things sometimes happen and they leave factories. But you're going over to Pepin. That's a big. Imagine now Nick Malolo working with Pepin and Jaime.
Whoa.
That's a big deal.
It's a big move.
That's a big.
Yes, it is.
That's a cigar that really is exciting to me. Those 2 cigars now.
I love that factory too. They've
Yeah,
done
I mean,
such a great job. They were a factory of the year last year. I mean,
2 years in a row they were a large factory of the year. They won it again this year.
Lots of good stuff coming out of there.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. So, like I said, whatever reasons Nick had for leaving that factory, maybe there's a lot of business reasons that happen. And that's part of when you're a brand owner with that factory, you do have to sometimes switch factories. What I like what Nick did, he didn't say. I think this was also another reason he can get rid of the Yellow Wednesday name. I don't think was a great name. I think Wise Man Maduro, Wise Man Corojo is a lot better, and they're different looks, they're different blends. So I think it was a good move for him, and I never heard anyone say he will never work with Aganorsa again. Just so you know, but right now he just doesn't have anything coming out of him.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like I don't know. My gut tells me it wasn't like it was a bad leave. I think
I don't think it was a
made
bad
some
leave.
business moves.
Well, the only I mean it was.
I could be wrong.
I mean there's history with Aganorsa and Pepin, which is well documented. But I don't think that was like Nick saying, "Hey, I'm going to a factory. Screw you, Aganorsa." I think he went to a factory. He decided he wanted to work with another factory, and he needed to kind of redevelop these brands. So he decided to go there.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said before, I mean, anybody who starts making cigars with Pepin, that is special. I mean, look, they have a track record,
They do.
Look at what they've done with other people and with themselves.
Ashton, Tatuaje, Crowned Heads.
Yeah.
Nestor Miranda still has a very good relationship with them. He just did the Nestor 80th out of that. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I agree. That's really cool. Now, the other thing, I think it's shipped already, so I don't think it's something that will probably be a big deal. But the La Union, that's
the black box ship.
The black box
is
shipped.
The
so other one,
we'll see the red box. I think we'll see the red box there this year.
I think last year we had both. They might have both on display for the sake of. I mean, they got a pretty big booth and they do a nice job. But I would say if they don't have the black, the red should definitely be there. And I assume that will ship probably later this year.
That was the plan. Pete said.
Yeah.
So I think
because I know they were going to be separated, but I didn't think it was going to be too much of a gap.
Yeah, I don't know if they're taking more orders for that or not. That's a good question. If they are.
Yeah, so that's one I'm curious to see. Another one I wanted to ask about, and I haven't talked to either one of you guys about this. I actually kind of just thought of this. Anybody have any, or unless I missed something, Miami cigar? I mean, I haven't really heard anything. Empty. Yeah.
Radio silent.
Yeah.
If they go into the show, my guess it will be another Tatiana. If they do anything.
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter.
That's all I can think of.
But they always have something new at the show, even if it's a small limited. So they've been very quiet this year.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben and I were talking, and that was one of the companies we have to just kind of do some legwork before the show, see what's going on, because we have Ben and I have a long relationship with that company. Ben's actually got a longer relationship than me with them. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, Miami cigar. I mean, yeah, industry they always have something, but I'm like, they don't. I haven't really heard anything exciting from them, and
the Nestor 80s took a long time to get out. That was the problem.
Yeah.
So the Nestor 80s didn't make it out till like recently.
Yeah,
That was
that's
supposed to
true.
ship last year. Yeah. So, but I don't know if they're still going to be pushing the Nestor 80s. I don't know if it's sold out or not.
Yeah, that's one I got my eye on just to see like what's going on over there. But I mean, in terms of unanswered questions and booths to talk about, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of the ones that you'd expect. And that doesn't. And if we didn't talk about you, it's not because it wasn't worthy.
No.
It was just there's a lot. There's how many booths on the show floor? Like 270.
There's like 200 of them.
Yeah.
There are a few companies there are a few other companies I think that are, kind of question like what's going on with them. I think it's fair to ask. I think there's a couple of Miami was one of those for sure that I had on there. Obviously, we don't know anything that Fuente's doing yet. I mean, that was another one.
Well, you won't. I mean, that's a day
and you won't, right? Exactly. With that, that's just how they operate. I know Crux is unveiling whatever they have at the show. They told us this year, so that was another one.
That's a wait and see.
That's a wait and see. Ferriego is a question, as well. Are they going to release anything else before the show? I don't get the impression about that. Luzione's been quiet. So Lapolina's been quiet. You mentioned
JRE.
Jerry's got stuff. Jerry's got stuff. They're not ready to talk about it, but I've smoked it. I can just say
Okay.
that.
All right.
They got
so
something. They got a new line coming out. It's really good. Yeah.
at the show.
At the show, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, they do have something at the show. I've smoked it. I do know they've already contacted a couple of retailers, so I have been trying to find out what it is. I just haven't yet. So, the one company, there's a couple. Sereno's not coming to the show this year. I found out. That was a little bit of a surprise.
Were they there last year?
I don't remember if they were there last year, but they.
Because I feel like I don't remember seeing them.
They were. I don't remember if they were.
I don't remember covering them. I mean, we hit a ton of booths last year, and I don't remember seeing that one.
Right?
Yeah. Villiger and West Tampa were the other two. Like, I haven't heard anything about what they're doing.
Yeah. Villiger's a big company, too.
Villiger's a big company, so those are the other two I was looking at.
I thought I heard West Tampa coming out with something else in the Attic series or something like that. I thought
that was a single store release, though. I wasn't.
Oh, was
I
it?
saw something. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it was a single store soft launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I saw something, but I wasn't really sure exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that either. West Tampa's been kind of quiet on my end as well. I expect to see them do something. But again, I don't know. That one's been kind of out of my my information zone as well. JC Newman, JC Newman always seems to bring something, but I haven't heard anything from them
I thought they have another Leroy Neiman coming out. That's what I've been hearing.
But like besides that, they don't have anything else.
I could see them announcing it this week.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know if there's anything else, but they usually don't come empty-handed to the show either. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They don't come empty-handed, but I feel like they do announce some stuff, but I haven't really heard anything. Yeah,
the only thing I have heard about the second Leroy Neiman.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's getting launched at the show.
It's always an exciting time to walk into some of these booths because you know that there's gonna be something, but you don't know, and then you're like, oh shit, what's that?
Yeah.
The best, Coop, and you know how this goes. The best is when you walk into a booth that didn't make an announcement, but they got new stuff in there, and they got something in the display case, and you're like, oh, what's that? And then you ask the question, they go, well, we're not ready to talk about it yet. And it's like, well, then why the fuck is it here?
Well, Caldwell was
you know
a famous one with that. Caldwell, there was getting orders on it. I'm like, you can't talk about what you're taking orders on?
Well, that's different. If you're taking orders, then like if you don't want to talk about it, but you're taking orders, it's like I don't even want to talk to you myself. Like forget it.
Yeah.
Like don't jerk me around.
Yeah.
If it's there, and you're not doing anything with it, and you don't want to talk about it, it's like, all right, I get it. You want to like show off a little bit, but like all right, why is it there then? You know what I mean? Like, don't show it if you don't. People are gonna ask about it. So.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think PCA is going to be exciting this year. And last year in Vegas for a little while, and I think that transition to New Orleans, I think will be interesting to watch.
Yep.
But no, I mean, I'm excited for the show. I know you guys are excited for the show, and hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's a good one, and we cover the shows really well. So
I think it's gonna be good. This is gonna be the last one for a while that Barbara and I don't have to travel to go to.
I know.
Aside from a 20-minute drive across town, so
Yeah.
NOLA's going to be interesting for sure.
Yep.
I definitely plan to gain 10 or 15 pounds while I'm down there, but
look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. The first thing that comes to mind to the New Orleans trade show, is
Cafe
food.
du Monde.
Like I keep thinking about the food. I'm like, I'm gonna eat. Like you can eat a lot in Vegas too, but it's different.
Beignets, jambalaya. The list goes on and on.
I know. I'm like already mentally.
We have a
preparing
Ben's a New Orleans homeboy. We're gonna eat well. I know that.
Nicole's been to New Orleans and she was talking about the oysters. They do like the baked oysters down there or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, if you're a foodie, if you are a foodie, you will be in heaven in NOLA.
The best event one of the best dinners I ever went to is the Mombacho cigars. They rented a house and they brought in a chef who did a tobacco infused menu, Cajun menu.
Oh, wow.
It was off the charts. I mean, we won't have that anymore unless Claudio's there and tries to do it again, what he's doing. But yeah, it was amazing. I just tell you that. By far, the best dinner I've ever had at a trade show.
That does sound
I've
good.
definitely heard some stories of the extracurricular activities that happened in NOLA back in the old days. So we'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. Yeah.
I have heard some rumors though about the extracurricular activities that are going to happen at this trade show. Though something like I hear that Vegas Vacation is going to be playing 24/7 at the Coop compound.
That has not been confirmed at all, okay? Because I don't know. I do know we have dinners for a couple of nights, so I don't know how much the Coop compound is going to have people over this year. So,
I mean, we know how much Bear loves Chevy Chase. So,
well, I mean, Joe hasn't really pushed the Vegas Vacation agenda quite like the Christmas Vacation thing. He was traveling. He's been traveling a lot for his job. So he was in Tampa, then he was in Honduras. So yeah, he's been traveling.
It's a good movie. Just saying.
It is. It's a good movie.
hey,
It's a very good movie.
I haven't seen a beating that bad since somebody put a banana in my pants and turned a monkey loose.
It's guys like you who made this city what it is today. Cousin Eddie goes after Clark. That's right, Joe Moose boss. It's guys like you who made this city what it is today.
Is that the one when Eddie gives him the shoes, like the white like?
No, that's the
shoes?
original one. That's
the
original
original one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clark, have you ever swam with the dolphins? which are no longer here.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Well, guys, I think we're at a good stopping point.
Yeah, I think so too.
We've been on here for a little while, and there's a lot more to come, and let's not drop it all at once. So,
Yep.
PCA 2024, it's about to take off. It's happening this week. We'll all be in Las Vegas. Getting excited. It sounds like it's going to be a good trade show. There's a lot more to come. A lot more to find out. A lot more to learn. Hopefully we will. Stay tuned for all of our PCA 2024 coverage, brought to you by Drew Estate by visiting smokintobacco.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to everywhere you find your podcasts, including on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, all the other ones. Visit smokintobacco.com for all of our cigar industry updates, news, reviews, other content, and that'll do it for the Spare Notes. We will see you. Spare Notes, we'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll do our recap of PCA 2024. And Wednesday night, it'll be me and Kevin and possibly Mitchell, hoping that he can make it, and we'll do kind of a last-minute little run before the show. Maybe talk about a couple other things, and then after that, it's wheels up. We're heading out west. So
I'll be on the plane. I'll probably maybe watching it on the plane. So.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, no insane wind and flight delays this year.
Oh man, that was TPE. That was TPE.
Was it a TPE?
The one when I almost drove through the desert? That was TPE.
Yeah.
That was in
Okay.
January.
I'm glad you didn't do that. That is not a ride you wanted to do. Yeah.
I didn't want to do it, but I would have done it if I had to. I mean, I wasn't gonna miss the show. But
No, it would be. You should leave the next morning. Is what you should have done in that case. Yeah. It wasn't a far ride you were from, so.
But yeah, no. So yeah, hopefully it's a smooth flight. But landing in Vegas can be tricky just because of the mountains. But yeah, looking forward to it. That's gonna be our show, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.